Get nasty on a Tuesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 to ESPN with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 201. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. What'd you guys think of the home run derby last night?
I hated every minute of it.
Yeah.
Is that because Teoscar Hernandez beat Bobby Witt Jr.?
Yeah, it was
and you
fixed.
had Bobby Witt
They turned the air conditioning on there
at the end?
at the end when my guy is pounding balls, just pounding piss missiles everywhere. And all of a sudden he's falling short.
AC came on and it started to
Yeah, I didn't like it at all.
push Bobby Witt's home runs back in.
No, I actually liked it. I liked the drama of it. I actually liked the way they set it up this year.
With the pitch clock and...
Well, the pitch clock and also, your last 3 outs.
I did like that as
That's
well.
dramatic.
Yeah.
And if you keep hitting some home runs, like you keep going.
Yeah.
But when you miss, there's a little more pressure to it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good drama. I thought it was good theater. And it was good overall.
Get you guys psyched up for next Saturday?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a great
Bobby
time.
Witt-
Hoot Stadium?
Bobby Witt Jr. reminded me of me at one point.
Yeah?
He was swinging so hard, his hat fell off. And I was like, you know what? I
is
can
my
relate
guy.
to you.
Yeah.
You are my spirit animal.
That's
I
right.
don't watch you play very often, but I will from now on.
Yeah. The stadium, Car Shield Field is where we're going to be next Saturday for the Fast Lane and Rizzuto Show Home Run Derby. It's hosted by the O'Fallon Hoots next Saturday, July 27th at Car Shield. There's going to be a fast pitch home run derby as well. Rick Ankiel's going to be there. Brian Jordan's going to be there. Some more Major League Baseball alum. I think Pete Cosma is going to be in it
What?
as well.
The legend.
I think Pete Cosma is going to be in it. So you've got general admission tickets that are just for $15. It's all brought to you by Swiss Air Heating and Cooling, Faster House, and Zwickau Light. Get all the details on this year's O'Fallon Hoots Home Run Derby now at 101ESPN.com. We've done this for the last couple of years. It's always it's fun, man. And kids, I always enjoy going out there, and a lot of times the kids, they'll be asking for autographs or whatever, and it's kind of fun to say, "Hey, Rick, come on over." Everybody winds up being great there, having a great time, and it winds up being a lot of fun until the Rizzuto Show starts to complain.
Oh, they complain or they try to
But that's going to happen. So.
cry. I'm going to bring towels this year for the
Here's the thing.
tears.
It's a good idea.
I've never participated. It'll be my first year. If you beat them, and it's a sound beating, by a lot, you don't really know.
They'll accuse us of something. The one year they tried to say we used a special bat, the same bat they used.
Well, that's
Correct.
maddening.
It's frustrating.
Last year they didn't have a chance to do the lightning round because our guy Dylan
Broke his leg.
snapped his ankle like a carrot stick.
That's not.
So they complain.
They said, push him out of the way. Let's do the lightning round.
Right. That's what they said.
And I was like, no.
Well, they
It's
are
too
kind
much.
of. That sounds like the NFL. We get injured, move it down 20 yards. Don't worry about it. Coach, he's dying. Yeah, he'll be okay.
Yeah.
Got trainers over there.
Put him in the blue tent.
That is why the trainers are there, though, and the doctors.
Move it down.
There's
Move the drill.
There's
Move the
nothing
drill.
the players or the coach can do.
There's really, but you realize how important you are, right? You're there screaming and writhing in pain, and then move the drill down 20 yards. Nobody cares.
I had a
Maybe
coach-
a coach go back and take a peek at you, but
I had a coach in junior hockey, and a guy got hurt in practice. Took a slap shot. I don't know if it was up in the chest area. It went down. He was down. Bam. Coach skated over, grabbed him by the back of the jersey, drug him over to the bench, put him in the bench, closed the door, and kept the drill going.
So you want to be a professional athlete, do you?
But did compliment him for getting in the shot lane.
good job. Now let's get you off this ice.
Guy could have died.
It was awesome.
Meanwhile, the coach is like, let's go. We've got the ice for only a certain amount of time.
Next man up.
The next guy that ate a puck didn't stay down. He's like, I'm not getting drug off the ice.
All right, so going back to the home run derby, I thought it was exciting too. That was a fun format. I thought Pete Alonso was absolute crap last night.
He wasn't even trying. I think that's his new thing. He knows he can't win, so he's going to act like he's not trying.
He looked like he was trying to me.
Until he couldn't do it, and then he was like, "Meh, this is dumb." He's that
I've
guy.
only been training for this for 365 days.
But he's totally that guy.
You did, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
He's that guy.
Him and Ozuna.
He's going to be all in, all act like, doing the weights and everything. And then when he can't do it, he acts like, this is stupid
Never
anyways.
do. Right.
Okay, Pete.
Yeah, I had Alonso, I had Ozuna, and then I had the National League for my bet the board. So I was happy that since I didn't have anybody in the final, that Marsh's guy, Teoscar Hernandez, won. So Marsh gets a point for the home run derby, gets one added to his score.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was fun. What did you guys think of the national anthem?
Wow.
Get some more information coming out on that.
We do have more information, which explains certain things, but still not all of it.
I think it explains enough.
Well, you know what, though, Carey? Carey, hear me out.
I think it explains everything.
Hear me out. And our best to, I don't remember her name.
Ingrid Andress.
Our best to her. Apparently, she's checked into rehab today because she had a few too many drinks last night before the national anthem. However, I don't look at that as an excuse for her because I have been around lots of musicians that play absolutely annihilated and they play very well and they sing perfect.
They might actually be musicians.
Well, she is country star. She's a Grammy-nominated country star.
There you go.
So I'm not saying that she didn't have a bad day.
Well,
She did.
Here's the problem. You know, when you become extremely famous or semi-famous, or you have a lot of people around you, and sometimes they are enablers, somebody has to tell you, hey, you got to do something later, don't you? You need to slow it down. Don't keep hammering that.
Yeah, but what if she does that
back
before all of her shows? Because, again, musicians that I know
catch up to you at
used
some
to
point.
start hammering away the Jack Daniels an hour before the show, just so that when the show came, they were peaking. Yes! Thank you, St. Louis!
You're in Denver. No, all right. So,
But I feel bad for her.
yeah. Listen, if she has a serious problem, then look, go get yourself some help. Anybody that has a problem like this, it's an addiction problem. At some point, the bottom falls out, and you say, "Okay, I need to do something about this." So I hope she does. I hope she does check herself into rehab. She follows through with it, and she gets the problem corrected. Right? If this is
vocal coach too.
Well, okay, there's that as well. So if she does have an issue, again, not making light of that at all. I hope she gets better, right? And she has her comeback moment. I don't know if it was all that. You know?
It wasn't.
Like that was bad. That
I've
was
never
one of
seen
the worst national anthems
The tone.
in ever, Bob.
She couldn't hit the notes.
From the
Like,
start,
even by accident,
it was
if she's
remarkable.
inebriated, she should have hit the notes.
It was remarkable from the start how bad it was. And I feel like sometimes you can't hear, like sometimes you'll see you'll see you'll see the singer kind of you can tell like they're trying to because they can't hear themselves.
Yeah, Rob Manfred has that problem whenever he gives away the big hunk of metal.
That's true too. Yeah. Not a singer, but I see your point.
Yeah.
I don't think that was it last night for Ingrid.
No. Oh, no, that was just a swing and a miss.
Totally. And I think maybe being drunk, as she claims, that just compounded the issue.
Oh, yeah.
But if that was like her rendition of the national anthem, that was not smart.
If I can make a recommendation to all national anthem singers, whether you're amateur or professional, just sing the song.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
It's
it really
a tough
is.
song to sing, though.
It is one of the toughest songs
That's
to
fine,
sing.
Carey, but just sing the song. You don't have to make it your own. So many artists are like,
I agree.
I'm going to make this my own.
Don't do it.
No, just sing the dang song how we wrote it.
I think when you get to a certain
Canadian guy.
Canadian guy.
All right, Francis.
when you get to a certain key of the song, you have to stay there, and if you can't get there, you can't peak too early on that song.
It's never good.
A difficult song to sing.
But then you should just sing it the way it's supposed to be sang.
Yeah, but even if you do, like when you get to the you got to stay there.
Carey, I've been singing that song a long time, and I do just fine. I would have been better than Ingrid last night.
I believe you.
100%.
I've
Now,
never
that's
heard you
not
sing.
setting the bar high.
No,
Let's
But
hear it.
still.
Yeah, let's hear it.
If you're not Whitney Houston,
But even Whitney
R.I.P.
Houston sang the song.
She did.
She did an amazing job of the actual version.
Yes.
Let your voice speak.
Absolutely.
Don't change the flow of the song.
Just be Whitney Houston as Whitney Houston singing the national
You
anthem.
probably can't do that.
Nobody can.
No one can.
Nobody will.
Chris Stapleton did an unbelievable job of it, too.
Sure. Nobody's touching Whitney Houston in that Super Bowl.
That's the greatest
In the
one
early
I've
90s.
ever heard, by far.
By far. We played it for, I think, Marsh, you had never heard it, right?
Only thing that would have made
we
that
talked
better,
about this,
Anthony?
not too long
I
ago.
listened to it. We did talk about this a few months ago.
It's remarkable.
I think after the Super Bowl.
You got goosebumps.
I did not get goosebumps, but
There's one
I
thing
did
that would have
like
made
it.
that better.
I did like it.
Is this you're singing "O Canada."
Hey, I'm an American. Oh, Canada is a great
is really
tune.
good.
It slaps.
I love going and watching Canadian teams play at the Enterprise Center just so I can listen to Oh Canada.
That's good. That's nice. It is. It's
I'm a little
beautiful
biased,
song.
but it is a good song.
Yeah.
I like both national anthems. I've heard them a lot in my life.
Especially when you hear it in French, too. When you hear it in French,
And they go the half English, half French.
half English, half French. I don't know what they're saying, but I
Little
do because I know the
switcheroo.
lyrics.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the Home Run Derby is now behind us. We've got the Major League Baseball All-Star Game, which is tonight. We will air it starting the coverage. The pregame starts at 6 o'clock right here on 101 ESPN. What kind of change do you see coming from the Cardinals, if anything? We'll talk about that next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan, their hail sale had been extended for a limited time, so you want to get down there and take advantage of all the discounts that they have going on. They have discounted their vehicles that were impacted by the recent hailstorm by thousands of dollars, and you can enjoy the massive price discounts with no payments for 3 months and no down payment available on select new and used inventory. And here's the best part for me. All current Nissan specials and incentives are eligible for any hail-affected new Nissan. What that means to you is that if you find a hail vehicle that you like, it's already been discounted, whatever promotions and sales that they already have going on right now throughout the month of July on new Nissans, you can apply it to the hail sale vehicles as well. So you can stack up the discounts and save thousands in the process. And hey, with over 700 vehicles all in one location out in Herculaneum, you're bound to find your perfect car that fits your needs and your budget at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum. As always, at Auto Centers, 30-day new car return promise, the complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, as well as the complimentary one-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. It's all available out in Herculaneum. Check them out online at autocentersnissan.com. It's Auto Centers Nissan.
You guys brought in Chaim Bloom to give you a different perspective on things. So would you say you do approach things a little differently now, or is it very similar to how you've been operating?
No, I think what we did was we brought him in to get an independent view of how we do things, and ultimately he's going to present to myself and ownership on what types of changes he might do. And obviously we've been together a long time, my group, and change is inevitable. Things are going to start to change, and so really I just want to make sure that we have a long-term strategy on what that looks like. And as the next year comes and goes, we have some steps we can take to start implementing those changes over the long view.
That was John Mozeliak this past weekend with Jim Hayes of Bally Sports Midwest. He's talking about Chaim Bloom and the changes that the club could implement. It sounds like, and we'll get to what Mo said about his future here in a second, but guys, it sounds like the Cardinals and Mo are preparing for this to be kind of wrapped up with Mo over the next couple of years. Oh, yeah. That's the that has been the indication. You bring in Chaim Bloom. He seems to be the interim president in waiting, and Mo's going to probably move on and do something else, either within the organization or Major League Baseball within the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, I think Mo's
That's my
days,
read on it, at least.
I think Mo's days as a Cardinal will be done when his contract is up. Mm-hmm. I think Mo wants a change. I think he's loved his time here in St. Louis, but I think he's ready to leave baseball heaven. Like, he's just, and rightfully so in a way, because he's taken a lot of heat. Yeah. Now, has he earned some of that heat? Absolutely. Absolutely. With some of the decisions he's made and, not bringing championships here all the time like some people want, he deserves the heat. But that doesn't mean he wants to stick around here and continue to get the heat. So I could see Mo, once he's done, like moving on to a league job to do with baseball, something to do maybe with another team. Mm-hmm. I think his time will be done. And I think it's very evident that Chaim Bloom is the successor.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you, Jamie. I think he's faced so much criticism in his time here. Some with, is warranted. Some of it not, because, again, he has only so much that he can do as the president of baseball operations in terms of there is someone above him that allows him to either make deals or not, spend money or not. And so it's only so much he can do at times. I believe his hands are tied up, are tied because he's not able to do everything he may want to do. But I agree. I think you kind of heard when he did the interview earlier this season where he said, if I was fired today, I'd be okay. Like, if I lost my job, it's not like, 10, 12 years ago if this would have happened. Like, to me, that sounds like a person. When you start talking about, transitioning and moving on to different parts of your life or different aspects of your career, I think you are probably on the tail end of whatever it is you're doing. But I do believe that he wants to leave this organization in good hands and in a good place. I don't think he's the type of person that doesn't care. When you spend so much time doing something with one organization, you do have a connection to him. So I do think he wants the best for the St. Louis Cardinals and plans on leaving it in good hands when he does finally decide to leave.
All right, so here is John Mozeliak with Jim Hayes, Bally Sports Midwest. Jim asked him about his future. Here was Mo's response.
I don't know specifically. I know I won't likely re-up on a new contract. So I think, as I said earlier, change will eventually happen. And I think that's good for any organization because having a fresh voice, a fresh set of eyes is, I think, something that everybody can benefit from. And, I don't want to look at myself as stale and old and tired. But reality is I've been in this chair for 17 years, and there are things you get comfortable with. You try to push yourself. You're trying to always learn and grow, but I think there's even, self-limitations and those types of things. So, again, I feel like from a Cardinals standpoint, they're in a great spot, and ultimately there is going to be new leadership, and hopefully that new leadership can take this organization, even to a higher levels.
So when Mo's talking there, one, he makes it pretty clear that he's done as a Cardinal. Two, it reminded me of the situation with the Blues a little bit, where Doug Armstrong, has picked his successor and whatnot, and made it very clear what the plan is. The Cardinals, again, they're going to keep everybody in the dark, even though Chaim Bloom is standing right there. Pay no attention to the man over there. He's not president yet.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yeah. So But what worries me is Mo stepping away and handing it over to Chaim Bloom, who doesn't have a great track record. Let's just be honest. Whereas the Blues, I feel like the Blues are going to be left in good hands. Like Alex Steen is a former player, a really good player, won a championship here, a very smart individual. And I'm not saying Chaim Bloom isn't smart. He's probably smarter than I'll ever be in certain things. And that's fine. But I just don't know if Cardinal Nation's going to feel all warm and fuzzy if that's the successor. Does that make sense?
I completely agree, and I'll tell you why. If you're hiring Mo Jr., and things aren't going to change from an organizational philosophy standpoint. And I don't think it has to. I'm not saying change like you have to throw everything out. I mean, come in with a fresh set of eyes that doesn't necessarily think just like Mo. If that's the case, Chaim Bloom takes over, and he's going to focus on the same things that Mo did, and he's going to have the same approach and the same philosophy. If you're a Cardinals fan, you're going to be less than excited. I completely agree. You're not saying, okay, new fresh day for the Cardinals. No, it's like new, not so fresh day for the Cardinals.
It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Yes.
Where the two Spider-Men are pointing at each other.
Yes, that's exactly it. I will say this, and Carey, I'm interested in your thoughts on like Chaim Bloom and taking over in a couple of years. Mo gets a lot of criticism. I do think he was honest there. Like a lot of people say, Mo, just be honest. Just be honest. I thought he was honest. He's been in the chair for 17 years. He talked about how anybody, you want to challenge yourself and all that, but eventually you're going to get comfortable and maybe you're going to do some things, fall back on things that you've always done. That's what he was essentially saying. I think he's a bit, I don't know if bored is the right word, but I'm sure he's very complacent at this point.
I think he's fried.
There's only so many times you can kind of challenge yourself and change things before you just have to change your environment. Mm-hmm. Like I'm all about, hey, if you need to change who you are from a career standpoint so that you can revigorate yourself, great. I think you should. I think we all should be challenging ourselves in that way. But if you get to the point where you're just stuck, complacent, and bored and fried, then you have to change your environment. And I think that's where Mo is right now.
Yeah, I think he is. When you are in this position that he's been in for a number of years, you do get worn down. He has to listen to guys like us question every decision, and we don't always know, all the background or all the ins and outs of every decision.
We barely know anything.
We barely know, but we are people, and as our fans, people that criticize or critique every single decision. So I'm sure that he is worn down from that and plans on moving on to something where you don't have to listen to people critiquing every decision that you make, because it can become, overbearing at times.
Can you imagine showing up for your job every day, no matter what it is that you do, and the entire world has access to your failures?
Yeah.
I know it, Carey, you can.
You can too.
I'm talking to the listeners right now, because sometimes we say stuff and the listeners are like, well, that doesn't apply to me. Right. No, but can you imagine showing up for your job at the bank, the car dealership, and if you're a lawyer, showing up to court, and everything is being scrutinized. You have a bad day at work or you make a bad decision, and it's all over social media.
Not great.
No. And
forever.
Forever. And then you go to Schnucks trying to buy some groceries for the kids, cook some dinner, and people are questioning you at the grocery store, looking at you, pointing. Because you suck at your job.
Yeah.
I would get over that too.
Right.
Now, the money doesn't suck.
Right. They're
but it's
well
the price. That's the cost of doing business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you're getting criticized constantly. There are some textures that'll say, to Jamie, kind of to your point, if I was this bad at my job, I'd be fired. Okay.
That's always the money. Oh, there it is.
Money.
There it is. Yep.
Well compensated.
Don't worry. If I could handle that if I was paid that much.
That's what people always say.
Yeah.
That's always the answer. Mm-hmm. But what you don't take into consideration is, I don't care how much money you have, your children still go to school. Your children are going to be with other children whose parents may be the people that talk crap about Mo. And your dad stinks. My dad said your dad is terrible at his job. He needs to be fired. Right. There is nothing you can do, no matter how much money you make, in terms of protecting your children or shielding them from some of the conversation. Kids are rude as hell. They are vicious. They are awful people sometimes. So, you get some of those conversations. you can say, oh, money is going to be – no, it's not going to solve every single problem because there will always be something that is out of your control, and that just being one of them.
Well, you can say it until it happens.
There you go.
So I tell people all the time, it's like, the one I always get into is just shake my head on it. This guy's like, I'd fight anybody in the NHL. You pay me that much money. I don't care. I'll fight anybody. Oh, really? You get 20,000 people in the stands. Center ice, squaring off with a guy who wants to bash your face in.
And knows how to.
And it's all over TV and social media and everything's ready to go. But you're going to watch how things change. Mm-hmm. And my point is on that is you say you could accept the criticism, and that's fine. In the beginning, you probably can because the paychecks every 2 weeks, you're like, okay, oh, well, I'll just forget about it. But after 17 years of being critiqued and scrutinized and all that, I get why Mo might be just done with this. No matter what the salary is, everybody has a breaking point to their own mental health. Mm-hmm. And you can sit there and tell me that the paychecks make it go away. Guess what? They don't. Because once you have a certain amount of money, the paychecks don't really matter anymore because you're living comfortably, but you're not living comfortably because everybody's scrutinizing everything you do.
Yep. And
this is not a poor Mo. I'm not saying, I'm painting the picture exactly the way it is. Like, that's what his life is.
And then you know what's crazy? You don't know what you got until it's gone. Mm-hmm. Like, you might get somebody, like Kyle Bloom might be, in some people's opinion, worse. Then you might be looking back like, damn, I wish Mo was still here. I wish we were more, risk adverse, as you say, and not shooting for the stars and not getting anything in return. Like, you don't know. It could be better. It could be worse. It could be the same, but you just don't know until the next person steps in and starts doing their thing.
They've paid paradise and put up a parking lot.
Put up a parking lot.
I don't know that one.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing off of what Carey was saying.
Nice job.
Oh, good.
Did you get it, Carey?
Nope.
No?
I don't know that
song?
I don't know that song.
All right. Marshall sing it for you in the break.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. Big Yellow Taxi is the name.
Yeah, there you go.
By Counting Crows.
Yep. Heard of them.
You've heard the song.
Nah.
Okay.
You have. Guarantee it.
Okay. Marshall, play it for me.
Oh, yeah.
Don't know what you got till it's gone. Paid paradise. Put up a
Marshy has the lyrics pulled up.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he knew the song, but no, he's cheating. He's cheating. He's clearly cheating.
Is that it?
Yeah.
But you don't know what you've got. That's a different song.
No, that's...
Yeah.
No, that's it. That is exactly it.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Well, look.
I think that's it.
Pull up a parking lot.
Put up a parking.
Put up a parking lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can't pull up a parking lot.
Well, you can pull up and
you
park.
Can pull up, yeah, you pull up your
can't
car
pull up
to
a
the parking lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you're
Those lyrics
texting
are
in,
better.
make sure you pull over to the side, pull into a parking lot, text us. Air Comfort Service text line 314. Those roads are bad.
They are.
They're terrible.
Absolutely. What's trending is next on 101 ESPN. Hey, if you're worried about your roof right now because the rain has been brutal today. I mean, we've gone through the big storm. It's still raining outside. If you've got a leaky roof or you've got some roof damage, you have to call my friends at the Happy Roof Company. 314-665-3001. They will have somebody look at your roof, look at your issue within the next 24 hours or whenever you call them. They've got financing options available. They've got over 50 years experience in roofing, siding, and gutters, A+ rating with the BBB, dynamic product knowledge, always up to date, the Happy Roof Company should be your first call. And if you have roof damage and you've already contacted your insurance company and they've paid you, but you need a roofer to come out and give you an estimate, great. The Happy Roof Company, they've got free estimates with competitive pricing, so give them a call. If you need help with insurance paperwork on a damaged roof, again, the Happy Roof Company can help you there. And if your insurance claim got denied and then you go outside and it seems like every other day one of your neighbors is getting a new roof and you're not, call the Happy Roof Company. They work very well with insurance companies, as I mentioned before. 314-665-3001. TheHappyRoof.com is where you can find them online. It's the Happy Roof Company.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers won MLB's Home Run Derby last night. We'll continue giving you the All-Star festivities this week with Major League Baseball's All-Star Game tonight, which you can listen to right here on 101 ESPN with the pregame starting at 6 o'clock. We're going to talk more about your Cardinals, and we'll get into some football today, but we have what's trending coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, we talked about the Home Run Derby earlier in the show, but I wanted to ask you guys, does the Derby need more household names? Teoscar Hernandez, who won the Home Run Derby last night, he's a Dodger, but I wouldn't consider him to be one of those upper echelon players. Now, he's playing like it.
He's not the Dodger.
He's not the Dodger. Yeah. So do you think the Derby needs like the King Griffey Jr.'s, the Mark McGuire's, like those household names?
Those guys are probably a little bit old.
Yeah,
obviously.
Probably past their prime.
I mean, it still would be kind of fun to watch them, but I think like current players would work.
I think what Marsh is saying is the Mark McGuire's of now.
Jamie knows exactly what I'm saying.
The Barry Bonds of now. You know? The Ken Griffey Jr.'s of now.
So,
I think those guys.
What's that?
Hey, I don't know.
What's your thoughts on, like, Ozuna's not an all-star, right?
Oh, no, he is.
Yeah, he
is.
He? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What's your thoughts on just, they don't have to be all-stars for the Home Run Derby?
I hate it.
Well, why do you hate it?
It reminds me of the NBA slam dunk contest where they'll bring in a G League player to win.
No, well, that's a little bit different. But hear me out, because you're talking about the Mark McGuire's and Barry Bonds and things like that. There are some guys that are smashing baseballs that would make that a hell of an event. And you're not going to bring in, like, no names. You're talking about bringing the names.
Yeah.
Like, if there's a guy on a team that is flooded with talent, let's just say, and he's a home run, he's a long ball hitter, he's not going to make the All-Star game, or he's a DH that's not going to make the All-Star game, I think it kind of enhances it. There's probably more household names that you could slam in there that aren't All-Stars.
So how many are there? 8?
Yes.
8 contestants. So let's say this: Judge, Ohtani,
Trout.
Let's just go with guys that are healthy for right now.
Wow.
So those two definitely. Gunnar Henderson. Anybody got a problem with Gunnar Henderson being in it?
What about Juan Soto? You want Juan
Before
Soto?
I watched him actually compete.
Juan Soto, yeah. See, Juan Soto's a great example.
Yeah. So
And he was great in the Home Run Derby.
Gunnar Henderson 4.
I'm out. I didn't think he did enough last night.
Bryce Harper.
But Gunnar Henderson is still somebody. I mean, he is an emerging star.
Yeah.
Stud. Bryce Harper would be fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be 5. Kyle Schwarber.
I was just about to say that.
He'd be fun.
He'd be hilarious.
That'd be 6. Let's see here. Jordan Alvarez would be great.
Yeah.
That's what, 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you say Shohei?
Yeah.
I
Say
did.
Shohei?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's 7.
There's going to be somebody we're missing right now.
Pete Alonso?
I think you have to throw him in there.
I think you have to.
8, just because he's a coconut?
Yeah.
I think 8. I think that would be an exciting 8. I would be more excited in that group than
they're
I
all
would be
names.
last night. Yes. So I think that's what Marsh is asking. And I would say yes.
Are all, but not all those guys are all-stars this year.
I think most of them are.
That's the thing. If you're getting a household name, typically household names are all-stars. Now, you did bring up Kyle Schwarber, who is a household name, but he's not like Shohei Ohtani, Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge.
I'm not saying all 8 have to be non-all-stars. I'm saying you find the biggest 8 names. And if 2 of the guys of the 8 didn't make the All-Star game that year, put them in anyway.
I think it's happened before. I could be wrong. I think that has actually
Albert wasn't
happened
an all-star.
before.
Oh, no, he was a special all-star, wasn't he? Like the veteran player that...
I think it happened a while ago. I could be completely wrong, but I think it did happen where they brought in a guy who was not actually an all-star to compete in the Home Run Derby. And I didn't like it.
Brandon says Wilson.
Wilson Contreras.
Probably.
For the Home Run Derby?
Yeah.
It's a thought.
Or Tom Wilson.
That'd be interesting.
He's a big,
see
strong
him
guy, too.
Make the transition from hockey to baseball. Yeah.
I think the big question is, do these guys even want to do it?
Well, Shohei didn't want to.
Right.
Shohei didn't want to like mess up anything going on right now with like his comeback from injury and all that.
And it does apparently. Listen to some of the guys talk independently on different things. It does mess your swing up a little bit because you're not really taking a true at bat. Like you're swinging for the fences every time. You're not driving the ball. You're not like you're looking to launch.
Yeah. I did you buy that?
If the player says it, I have to buy it.
Like Albert And this
Probably
is
helped
very
him.
this is anecdotal, but Albert came back and had that unbelievable. Because I was worried. I'm like, oh no. Because I always bought into that too. Like, oh no, this is going to be bad. Like, this is it. Albert really didn't have a great first half. Now he's going to come back from low run derby time, and then he just took off. So,
Well, maybe different
One
players
guy.
have different
Yeah,
results from it.
Depends on the person.
yeah.
Everybody's different, Anthony.
This
heard
is
that.
interesting. This guy's definitely different. Skip Bayless reportedly leaving FS1's Undisputed later this summer. I'm sure he won't retire. I'm sure he'll stay within the business. But how important has Skip Bayless been to sports media?
So, for me, Skip Bayless at one time helped change media a little bit. And hear me out. Like Mad Dog, those guys were the first ones to kind of do it that, we'll call it argumentative radio, okay? And then I think it got kind of stale for a while. It was like robotic radio, especially in the sports world, where you just bring up a topic, talk about it. Oh, maybe mutually agree upon it, next topic. And Skip, though, he brought in the, I just totally disagree with you. Why? Just because. You know, like that whole, like, in your face, that argument. And if nothing else we've learned over the course of time is that people enjoy conflict. They really do. Not their own, other people's. Like, how the hell do you think Jerry Springer became a thing way back when? Because people enjoyed conflict. Jerry. You got a lot of conflict on that show. And then, you fast forward to where we are today.
Yeah.
Everything kind of got peachy keen for a little bit. And then Skip, what's that other guy? Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith. Like, these guys are in your face, and they get into it with people, and you're kind of drawn to it. So I think Skip holds a big part in that transition to, we'll call it, heated radio.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. There's kind of a, he's one of the founding fathers of that, and now it is prominent anywhere you go. I wish he was, and moving off of that, so like full stop on that, because I think you're completely right, Jamie. I just wish that, he's not believable.
That's the problem, is it's just, now it's fake. Now it's fraudulent.
Right. Everybody loves a good villain, but you have to be naturally a good villain, I don't think Skip was ever a good villain. Max Kellerman, I find him to be completely annoying. Like, he's just annoying to me.
Yeah, but you want to see someone eviscerate him every
Absolutely,
time.
yes.
There you go. That's the hook.
I'll sign up for that.
Yeah.
I'll sign up for that show any day of the week. Twice on Tuesday. Preferably Taco Tuesdays. All right, what's the best course of action for the 49ers regarding Brandon Aiyuk? And Marsh thought of an interesting question in regards to Aiyuk and his role with this current team for the 49ers, which is still a Super Bowl contender. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN. Fast Line on 101 ESPN. Brandon Aiyuk, after going through contract negotiations with the 49ers, has asked the team to trade him. And this is a tough situation because the 49ers, knowing what Brandon Aiyuk brings to this offense, they don't want to trade him. They want to see things through for the final year. But when it comes to, and you guys can speak about this being former athletes, when it comes to negotiations and leverage, even though you have 1 year left on your deal, in this case, Brandon Aiyuk has 1 year left on his deal, now's the time to ask. Now's the time to hold out. Now's the time to say, hey, if we're not going to come to an agreement, trade me somewhere that will pay me. Because if you get hurt in week 2, you shred your knee or tear your Achilles, the team's not going to give you a new contract just because, oh, you're a swell guy. We know you work hard. So now's the time to ask for it. What do you guys see as the 49ers' best course of action with Aiyuk?
He under contract?
Yeah, he's got one more year.
That's it.
So he holds out. Could see like the week whatever 12.
I don't foresee him holding out that long and not playing pretty much an entire season. He's under contract. You want to try to get something done, but the 49ers understand that they are in a position right now where Brock Purdy is knocking at the door in terms of his contract being due. You're still on a rookie deal with him. You're in a great place because you're able to pay everyone else as much as they want to get paid. And somebody's going to be left out. And right now it's Brandon Aiyuk. They picked up his 5th-year option. He's going to have to play on that year and hope that they don't try to franchise him next year or come to an agreement where they won't franchise him next year and he can become a free agent and go get paid as much as he wants to. If I'm the 49ers, there is not much I'm able to do because I know I've maxed out pretty much every position that I need. My left tackle, he's good. My starting running back is good. My starting receiver, one of them, is good. My tight end is good. Offensively, we're set. I got my quarterback that is due up here shortly. I cannot commit a lot of money to Brandon Aiyuk. It's unfortunate. Timing is not perfect. Sorry. It's part of the game. It's part of the business. This is what we're going to have to do. You're going to have that honest, hard conversation. And Brandon Aiyuk is going to have to make $14 million this year on the 5th-year option and then probably be a free agent next year.
Yeah. I've always been a very big believer in you have a contract, you play it out. You play it out. Like, as a player, for me, you play the last year of your contract. You don't hold the team at gunpoint saying, I'm not going to play my last year because, I want to get paid. Because then in return, can the team say, okay, well, if you suck, we're going to pay you less next year? No. So that's why they call it a contract. That's why it's legally binding, is you have to play that last year. Mm-hmm. They picked up your option in the 5th year. You play it out. The bottom line, if I'm the 49ers, I'm like, hey, okay, sit at home. I don't care. We're not going to pay you. We're suspended without pay. So
right. In fact, you're going to owe us.
Yeah, exactly. You'll owe all the fine money. Go ahead, sit there. Because your stock's not rising sitting on the couch.
Right.
So if Brandon Aiyuk thinks he's going to come out of a year of not playing any football and sign this massive deal, he'll get paid. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But it's not going to be the same as if he has a great year, goes off, and maybe wins a Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Now he can do whatever the hell he wants.
See, if I'm the 49ers, now you illustrated it, Carey. You've got Deebo Samuel under contract, Christian McCaffrey. The offense runs through Christian McCaffrey. Mm-hmm. You've got George Kittle that's got his deal. The defense, the key defensive players are locked up. If I'm the 49ers, I'm going to Brandon Aiyuk and say, look, and I'll get with the cap specialist and all that, figure out what a fair, I don't want to lowball them, but whatever a fair deal is, it's going to be under market value, but I'm going to go to Brandon Aiyuk and say, hey, we are a legit Super Bowl contender. We love you. We know what your role is. You know what your role is here. We could trade you, and you can go someplace, and you may be on a 4-win team. You'll be a stud, but you'll be on a 4-win team. You're more valuable here with us. You know what your role is. You know what the expectations are. You know we're going to win. Here's an offer for the next 5 years. We understand you can get more on the open market, but we want you to be a 49er. Will you accept these deals? And if he doesn't, then I'm trading him. I'm trading him now while his value is high.
Yeah.
And I can get, because I want to, if I go to the player and tell him, we want you at this price, and he tells me to shove it, I'm not going to take it personal.
Right.
But now it's I'm protecting the 49ers. Mm-hmm. And what's best for the 49ers would be, I'm trading you for a first-round pick. You can go get paid. You can go lose someplace else, but I need compensation because you're now an asset.
And that's the part that Brandon Aiyuk needs to take into consideration as well. I'm looking at all of these teams, and most of these teams have a number one receiver already. I mean, you look at maybe the Patriots need a number one. The Broncos potentially need a number one.
You want to go to New England or Denver?
The Bills possibly, because I don't know what Keon Coleman is going to be, or but they're going to be using 2 tight ends. So those 2 tight ends are essentially going to be their number one. Maybe the Jets, if you want to wrangle with Garrett Wilson, who's going to get paid here. It's only a few teams that are an option for you when you are on a legit Super Bowl contender with a team that is set up to win now.
Yeah.
And like I said, still waiting to pay the quarterback big money.
Right.
You still got an opportunity to win, a couple of, or put yourself in a position to win a couple of championships.
Well, that's the thing too, Carey. You broke down the teams that could be interested in a number one wide receiver. You also have to look at who's got the cap space to do it.
Right.
So the Patriots have the cap space. You brought them up.
Have fun there.
The Commanders, right? The Commanders.
They got a number
the
one.
Cardinals.
They those teams have number one receivers.
I'm just saying. Here's the teams that have cap. Let's just start with the teams that have cap space, because you could always. I mean, look, it's not like teams love wide receivers.
Correct.
They rarely help them win Super Bowls, but they love them, especially bad teams like the Falcons. The Cardinals. The Cardinals have cap space. The Lions have cap space, but they just paid Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, they're not.
They're not going to be interested. The Raiders. You want to go there? How's Devontae Adams like in life? Want to get dealt. Want it out. Doing well? You like bottom of the AFC West? So those are the teams that kind of have cap space that you can work with. Do you want to go to a loser, make more money, or do you want to make a good fair salary and win more games with us here? That would be my offer to Brandon Aiyuk. We'll see what happens. Either way, I'm not going into this. I either have Aiyuk under contract week 1 or he's in another uniform and I've got the draft compensation.
The 49ers do need him to play, though. Like, he is a huge part of that offense. He does take pressure off of Deebo Samuel, off of George Kittle, off the running game. So him being there is an important, integral part for this team to actually make another run. So it's tough on both sides, but I think if you're the 49ers, you do have to do what's in the best interest, because you got to pay this quarterback, and he's going to get a lot of money.
Definitely. That's Carey Davis. Carey and I are about to enter a deal or a no deal situation. So Carey last week said, I've got the Cardinals' perfect fix. It's going to be Garrett Crochet, and it's going to be Luis Robert. And I said to Carey, are you ready to decimate the farm system? And Carey goes, no, absolutely not. So I said, well, how are you going to get those two? And then we kind of went back and forth. Well, we're going to hash this thing out. He's going to play the Cardinals. I'm going to play the White Sox. We'll see if we get a deal done. And Jamie's going to moderate. This should be good. That's next on 101 ESPN.
You tired of looking at those old, nasty windows? Maybe they're ugly, maybe they're inefficient. Either way, if it's time for new windows, call my friends over at Window World, preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Window World windows are one of the 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. And why is that? Because they make a really good window. It's a double-strength glass that is not commonly found in replacement windows. And I stood on a window. It didn't break. It's excellent. It's way more efficient than some of your standard windows, which means that the hot air stays out, the cold air stays out during whatever time of the year it is for you, and the money stays in your wallet. Also, Window World gives you a lifetime warranty that covers all the parts, glass breakage, and labor. And right now, they are offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. And all you have to do, pick up the phone and give them a call. Tell them Jamie from 101 ESPN sent you in there. That number is 314-993-1800. Again, 314-993-1800, or visit windowworldstlouis.com.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. This goofy music indicates it's time to play Deal or No Deal, Trade or No Trade.
Let's make a deal.
Here in the Fastlane on 101 ESPN, let's make a deal.
Marcia needs one of those long microphones. You know what I'm talking about?
He does.
Yeah. Drew.
Good evening, St. Louis, and welcome to the Fastlane's version of Deal or No Deal.
Jamie. Every damn day.
What'd you do?
I was showing him the you need the long microphone. He's like, I don't know what you.
How do you do that?
What are you doing? Never mind. Don't worry about it.
You know better.
I do. He would prefer that he had the long microphone.
I wouldn't. Reach different areas that way.
Yep. Thank you. Get us back on track, Marsh.
Okay.
Get ready.
All right. So, Carey, this all stems from you saying last week that the Cardinals should acquire, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the Cardinals should acquire Garrett Crochet and Luis Robert as part of your aggressive. If the Cardinals are going to actually do something, they're going to have to. They're going to have to get studs. They're going to have to get dudes.
Yeah.
So why just settle for a low end starter and somebody that can come off the bench? Why not go get both Garrett Crochet from the White Sox and Luis Robert?
Correct.
And I said to you, are you ready to tear down your farm system?
And I said no.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you still pushed. You still said they should still get this deal done.
They should.
All right. So Carey and I started to go back and forth during a break about, like, if I'm the White Sox and Carey's the Cardinals, what that deal would look like. And finally, we said, save it.
Yep.
It's one of our rules. It's the third rule, I think, in the fast lane. Save it.
We have a lot of rules. Sorry, I have trouble
It's important,
keeping up.
though. We call
They're
it
very important.
guidelines.
Yeah.
It's like a company handbook.
Definitely. All right, so, Carey, would you like to call me with the White Sox? Sounds like you're
You
trying
want to call me?
You're trying to be aggressive.
You want to call me?
I've got the players.
Okay, you call me.
See, I would see
No.
it as Mo would have to call the White Sox.
I would say so, too.
Hey, Mr. White Sox GM.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got a phone calling. All right. Okay. It came out of nowhere.
Great.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I just want
The
to talk
Chicago
business with
White
you.
Sox
Yeah,
here.
St. Louis Cardinals here. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
How you feeling?
Not good.
Not
Team
good.
stinks.
Kind of struggling a little bit over there, huh?
Yeah, got some studs though.
Yeah, you got a
couple
few
of studs.
guys. I got a few guys. I was actually looking at a couple of those guys, and we're wondering if you want to do some business.
I would love to.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Garrett Crochet is the one that I'm thinking of, and Luis Robert. I really like how well those guys play, and I think they would look good in Cardinal uniforms.
I agree. Let's
Yeah.
make a deal.
What do you got? What would you like?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think any deal that starts off with those two guys, you got to offer me Jordan Walker and Tink Hence, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, so I figured you would say that.
Yeah.
And seeing that we are trying to get an outfielder in return, I'm okay with Jordan Walker. It pains me because this kid is a stud. He's going to be a future All-Star. You're going to love him. I promise you. Great kid, come from a great family.
Yeah.
Tink is a no-go for me, though. You see,
He comes from a bad family?
No, Tink comes from a great family as well. But
Sorry.
Tink is a.
Come on, moderator.
Yeah, you're supposed to stay out of it till we're done, sir.
Jeez.
Tink is someone we see in our future, and just giving up pitching, prospects at this moment, especially that one. I got a few other ones that, if you're interested in. So I do have a list of what I can give you in return.
All right, let me hear the list.
So you want Jordan Walker? Okay, I'm fine with that. You can get two prospects, any two prospects not named Tink Hence. And you know what else you're struggling over there? I've been looking at your stats. You all lead the majors in blown saves. I got a guy who's actually leading the majors in saves. Would help you. Ryan Helsley. So I'll give you Jordan Walker, two prospects not named Tink Hence, Ryan Helsley, and any current player other than Wilson Contreras, Sonny Gray, Mason Wynn.
Off your current roster.
Off the current roster.
Yeah, no, I don't need a closer right now because
You
we're not
do.
winning games.
You're not winning games because you ain't closing them.
I'm building for the future here. I'm building for the future. Jordan Walker's a must.
Okay.
Tink Hence is a must. Because here's where I'm at, Cardinals. If I separate these two guys, I'm going to get a top prospect for both guys. I'm talking to one team. So I'm going to need a couple of top prospects, and that's just a start. I'm going to need Jordan Walker. I'm going to need Tink Hence. I'm going to need Connor Jerpy. I'm going to need either McGreevy or, you know what, Graceffo. You can make that decision.
You can have Connor McGreevy and Graceffo and not Tink. Hell, you can have two of those guys, and I'll throw in a Quinn Matthews for you.
No deal.
Quinn is actually pretty damn good, left-handed. High velocity guy, you might be interested. You're losing a starter. You're losing a lefty, right? Huh?
Right.
Huh?
That's why I want to replace him with Tink Hence. Even though he's a righty, Tink Hence still a stud.
You don't want that guy.
This conversation has to start with Walker and Tink Hence.
I don't think we can have this conversation then.
I realize that Juan Soto, that Luis Robert and Juan Soto shouldn't be in the same sentence, but Juan Soto, top pitching prospect. Top shortstop in San Diego's organization. I'm giving you two studs.
Well,
I'm giving you an ace.
Actually, you're giving me an ace, and you're giving me a guy that, when healthy, let's remember, he hasn't been healthy other than last season. And he got injured at the end of last season. The prior years to that, he's kind of been injury prone. So I'm actually taking a guy off of your hands and giving you a healthy, younger player under control for more years in Jordan Walker. So
I know what Luis Robert is, though, and so do you, which is why you're willing to give up Jordan Walker.
It's the only reason. Because how about we pull Luis and Jordan off and just talk about everything else?
Okay. You want to talk about just Garrett Crochet?
Sure.
All right. I'll take Tink Hence.
It's a non-starter for me, buddy.
Well, I'm sorry, then.
It's non-starter.
Good luck catching the Milwaukee Brewers.
Good luck keeping
sure you'll
your
be
job. See you soon.
All right.
Moderator.
So
I don't think we got anywhere.
no, you guys obviously are at an impasse when it comes to Tink Hence. However, Anthony, the very first deal Carey threw out there, which was Walker, McGreevy, I think is what he said.
Any two prospects other than
that's right.
Tink Hence.
Walker, any two prospects, Helsley, and then any other rostered player.
Yeah.
Right? And he said not named Wynn, Sonny Gray, or Contreras.
Right.
Here's where I think you should have taken that deal. Here's why. Because you're going to get Gorman on the back end of that, too. So now you're getting two young power bats. Because he said any player on the roster.
Any player.
So now you got Gorman, Walker, two prospects, and then you flip Helsley to a team that really can win right now. You take Helsley and you flip him to a team like the Yankees or somebody who's going for it, and you get some of their top prospects or a young guy in return. Your organization just turned around overnight.
I need an ace.
But it just turned out overnight.
But okay, fair point.
Because if you take McGreevy, Graceffo, and you've got Walker, and you flip Helsley for something, and you've got Gorman, dude,
Sounds like
that's
a good
half your
deal.
baseball team.
Okay. I just went through the whole deal with Robert and Eloy Jimenez and Tim Anderson and all that. I lost because I didn't have the appropriate pitching. I need pitching if I'm going to restart this organization. So it's a fair point. You're right. That would be a massive package.
And take Gorman and flip him for pitching. You the pieces that would come back to you on that, you could get whatever you need. Take Walker and flip him for a start. Like
I'll give you. How about this? I'll give you Luis Robert for Jordan Walker straight up.
No.
Okay.
No deal.
I'm better off trading both guys separately. I'm gonna get a haul from Garrett for Garrett Crochet.
I'm giving you a haul.
Fine, then give me
but Anthony,
Jordan
you're not going to
Walker.
get an ace. You're not going to get an ace for Crochet. Think about it, because if
I'm going to get a future ace.
But if you're going to do that, you just keep Crochet, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No, because
Why wouldn't you?
Because right now I can't win. That's
You
why
can't
I don't
win
want,
with them.
That's why I don't want Helsley. What Helsley?
You're leading the league in
Flip
blown
'em.
saves.
You're not seeing the vision.
If you win half those games, Anthony,
Maybe you're not
only,
seeing the vision.
Oh, I'm
If you
seeing
win
it.
half
How's your
those
Cardinals
games,
doing without pitching? They
I'm the moderator.
doing good.
I don't have
they
any-
doing good, moderator.
I don't have a horse in this race.
Not great.
Okay?
hey, you know.
the hell out of here. If you need an
go
ace, you wouldn't
again.
trade. Hey, Brandon, this is what I'm guys. The White Sox are one of the worst teams in baseball, if not the absolute worst team. Keeping Garrett Crochet when I've got such a far, like I need to shrink that gap.
Yeah.
So keeping Garrett Crochet does nothing for me, which is why I'm going to flip him to somebody and get a haul, and then trade Luis Robert and get a haul. So if you're going to trade
Well, if
me,
that's the case,
two
then Anthony, why the hell
players.
did you even pick up the phone?
Well, I listen. I consider all offers.
I didn't. You weren't considering anything. No, don't call him. I don't want to talk to this guy.
What the hell?
He doesn't like my. I thought it was a good deal.
Your first deal, I thought you fleeced
it was-
yourself on that one.
That was the only way I was.
Honestly, especially if you throw in Gorman on the end of that
the
tail
only
end of
way.
that deal.
The only way I was going to get
So you
Garrett
get no
Crochet
top.
was
I know.
to make it as sweet as possible.
So you get no top pitching prospects.
You do. Quinn Matthews is a top pitching prospect.
I don't want the 23-year-old. I want the 21-year-old that draws comparisons to Pedro Martinez.
Lil P.
Stop yelling at me!
Yeah.
All right, that was fun.
It was.
That was good.
It was a good exercise.
Jamie's discussed it with me, but
He's very disgusted with you because you had a chance to make your
did.
team better. Don't worry about it, Jamie. He'll
I
be
didn't.
fired in a couple of months. He'll be looking for you. You know what? You can call me. Got a job for you.
well, I'll go work with the Rays. Then I'll call you back.
And that's been this week's version of Deal or No Deal on the Fast Lane.
All right, that's it's an interesting exercise. Crochet won't resign. He'll leave after 2026, and then we'll rebuild to focus on 2027.
You got 2 years.
If the White Sox trade Garrett Crochet, it's going to be for a massive haul. I think the whole point of that exercise is like understanding
What it's going to take.
what it's going to take. And Carey, you did offer a lot.
Yeah.
I think for me, not getting Tink Hence,
It's a no-go for me.
yeah. So there you go.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
Janet, you are bang on.
That's what we say every day. Then he gets mad at us in the office.
No. I don't
It's
get
my
mad.
show. What the hell are you talking about?
Then he gets quiet, puffy.
I don't get mad at you guys for that. It's other things. I already know nobody cares. But other things that you bring to the table, that's what ticked me off. So, mostly your attitudes. It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Sports Six Pack is next. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. Send in your questions there. We'll do our Sports Six Pack next.
Hey, it's Carey, and if you are a contractor or you own a business that needs recycling, you need to learn about my good friends over at Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and budget. Job site cleanup for contractors, you know, if you are one, it's a bit of a messy job. If you set up a business account with Scrap Mart to recycle that metal, it'll be one less thing you have to do during cleanup. You'd be amazed how the scrap metals add up and how it can truly help your business's cash flow. If you own heavy equipment, you're tired of it breaking down over and over, repairs. Eventually it's going to break down for good, and you're going to have to get rid of it. Scrap Mart will come and get it out of your way. They'll haul it to one of their locations and get you a check the same day. Or if you want to haul it yourself, they have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, Jonesburg. If it's metal, they buy it. Copper wire, brass, stainless steel, aluminum, batteries, electric motors, steel, cast iron, and much more. It's recycling made easy. They offer a convenient drive on scale, have the highest payout. You will always get top dollar for your scrap metals. So just visit them at scrapmartmetals.com. My guy Lucas can talk to you about setting up a business account to get you rolling. That's scrapmartmetals.com.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
was funny when somebody says something right before the mics come back on that's kind of crude and funny and
sneak it in there.
Sneak it in there.
Hopefully before Marshy turns the mics on.
That's right. In this case, it was Marsh.
Well, it was me.
I know.
All right, we got the Sports Six-Pack right now. 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you have a question for us, send it there. What do you got, Marsh?
Question number 1.
Okay, let's go to the 618. Do you think the route for Jordan Walker back to the majors is with the departure of Nolan Arenado so he can go to his natural position?
I think it's actually the quickest path for him is back to the majors is through Paul Goldschmidt.
I was thinking the same thing.
Stick Jordan Walker at first base, man. You kidding me? The Tower of Power at first base? I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
First base is not an easy position.
It is. Scott Hatterberg.
Tell him, Wash. It's incredibly hard. Yeah, I agree with Jamie. I don't think, just based on Nolan Arenado's contract, I don't think that is the quickest route for Jordan Walker to come back. It's going to be either through injuries, which is the obvious answer, poor performance, or Paul Goldschmidt moving on in the offseason, and Jordan Walker maybe taking over at first base. I'm with you on that.
Question number 2.
From the 314, do you guys think the Cardinals will be able to pay all of our young prospects? I've been thinking about Mason Wynn and how much his contract will be. What do you guys think?
They do it earlier.
Those other guys will be off the books. So that'll be almost $60 million coming off the books with Arenado and Goldie.
Yeah.
And when Mason Wynn is up for his payday, Cardinals will have the money for that.
Yeah, and they've never paid a pitcher. They've never paid a free agent pitcher, I should say.
Yeah.
They're never going to shell out a $200 million contract for a stud pitcher. I don't think they'll swim in the $150 million waters for a pitcher. So you know that they're going to be frugal with that. So they'll have money, like Jamie's saying. They'll have a couple of players they're going to be over $100 million. They're going to have to. You're going to have to, I mean, at some point you got to do it, or you're going to have to say, hey, we're not doing this anymore. We're going to go the Milwaukee and Tampa route. You know, maybe we'll spend a little bit on free agents like Sonny Gray to ensure that they come in here. But still, Sonny Gray, that's under $100 million. Wilson Contreras under $100 million. I think that's the waters that the Cardinals are most comfortable in. That's $70 to $85 million range. But eventually, they're going to have to pay one of their young studs, and it's going to be Mason Wynn. And like Jamie said, they'll have the money to do so.
Question number 3.
From Grant Francis Fan Club, what is the scariest incident you've ever witnessed during a sporting event / practice in person? Jamie, I already know your top 3.
Yeah, there's been a few.
Yeah, it's not good.
Been a few.
For me, it's anytime a guy gets, concussed or neck spinal injury where you have to get a guy carted off. Like the entire, stadium or practice field, it just kind of goes numb, and you're watching this player,
What was the scariest for you?
Oh, I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I've seen guys literally black out, be concussed, like sleep snoring.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think if you hear a guy snoring, that's like, oh my God, like he's out of there. I don't know when he's gonna snap back. But yeah, that was anytime I see, I forgot about Ryan. But that didn't happen in the game. He lost his spleen. But that didn't happen.
Ryan Shazier?
Ryan Clark.
Oh, Ryan Clark.
Yeah. That didn't happen during the game, though.
Okay.
He didn't collapse. I think he was on the plane or on the way back, or when we were still.
That's right. He couldn't play. He couldn't play in Denver. He couldn't play in Denver.
Yeah. We were in Denver when it happened.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think he flew back with us, but that was scary later.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen on the field. I don't know.
I say Shazier, you were well done
I wasn't
playing.
done. Yeah, I was done when Shazier happened. But I think I've seen, obviously, people with neck injuries and they're carted off, snoring, carted off, and you're concerned. You don't know, and then you go right back to the game, and you don't know if your teammate is how they're doing. So that's always a scary event.
I don't want to lessen the DeMar Hamlin situation, because that was terrifying. But going back to the Ryan Shazier moment, that was one of the only, because I love football, one of the only moments where I'm like, I don't know if I should be watching.
Yeah,
like that, with the way that he hit and collapsed, and immediately I turned to my wife Kristen and I go, he's paralyzed. And it was one of those moments like, fortunately, he was able to. I think he's walking now, isn't he? Yeah. He's walking. He had a not full recovery, but a recovery. And then for you, Jamie, like you said, you've got a list here.
Yeah.
You did say top 3. That means there are at least 3.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, I've talked about this before. The Chris Pronger incident where he gets hit in the chest with the puck and his heart stops and he collapses to the ice at Joe Louis Arena. Must be something with Joe Louis, by the way, because then when I was playing with the Red Wings after that, Yuri Fisher's heart stopped on the bench and he fell backwards off the bench.
Can you tell though the story behind that and the way that the Red Wings had their doctors there too? So kind of changed the league.
It was never mandated for teams to have their doctors close to the bench ever. In fact, a lot of teams would give their doctors tickets somewhere in the building or have them in a suite or up top in the press box. And if they're needed, you call them, they come down. Well, Mike Ilitch mandated, it started in the playoffs one year where a player had an injury of some kind, and Mike Ilitch was like, why are our doctors not right there? So Mike Ilitch had the doctors sitting like right 2 rows behind the bench so they could get right down and help the players or be with the trainers right away. This was before anything crazy had happened. And then Yuri Fisher's out there playing against the Nashville Predators, comes off the ice and he goes to sit down on the bench. And I never forget, Chris Chelios and I were sitting right there. And he falls back off the bench, which has happened before because there was old bench and Joe Louis. And if you overshot it just a little bit, you end up on your keister.
Right.
And it was always kind of funny, So Fish flops to the thing and Chelly and I start kind of giggling. And then we look and we're like, he ain't right.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know what was going on, but I'm like, he ain't right. So we start yelling for the trainer, who's just a couple of feet down. And Pete comes. Pete Van Zandt was his name. Pete comes, and Pete looks at Yuri and then just looks right up at the doctor and gives him the wave. And I'll never forget the doctor. He wasn't a young buck either. Yeah. He took one step, one leg over the railing all the way down. Boom. Nice. Ripped off his jacket. And then they started doing CPR on Fish. And then the trainers cutting the jersey and the shoulder pads. And Steve Yzerman jumped off the bench onto live play. And the referees were like, going to call for too many men. They're like, too many men. And Yzerman just kept skating right to the end where the Zamboni comes out because that's where the EMTs are. And he just started banging on the glass. And finally they figured it out, opened the doors. EMT comes on and they back up and everybody's going to work. We're trying to get out of the way. We can't really get to the locker room because that's where he's collapsed at that point. So we're all off the bench now, giving everybody plenty of room to get to work and save his life, which they managed to get him, on the
stretcher.
The stretcher, and his wife, is up in the stands. We knew where the wives sit, and so we went over and waved her down to come down, and it was like it was a wild scene, man, for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy, man.
Steve Yzerman, Bill Daly happened to be at the game that night. He's like vice president of the NHL or whatever, and I remember Bill Daly came in the locker room and he's like, "Okay, guys, we're trying to figure out, what the best way to proceed is here tonight." Steve Yzerman said, "I'll help you. We're not playing this game."
Yeah.
He said, "The game's over. That's it." He goes, "If we have to take the loss, I don't care. The game's over."
Good for him.
And Bill Daly's like, "Okay, well, you're not going to have to take the loss." First of all, he's probably like, "Oh, crap, that's Steve Yzerman."
Yeah, right.
And so what they did was Nashville was actually ahead 1-0 in that game. So we played Nashville again later on. Full 60 minutes was the agreement, but Nashville started the game up 1-0.
Really? Wow.
I think that happened with the Blues when the whole Jay Bouwmeester
thing
situation.
Yeah.
They were also winning, I believe, 1-0.
And you start the game 1-0. But Fish is doing great now. Actually, it's hilarious. Yuri Fisher works for the Red Wings in player development and scouting. And his son, Lucas, I believe is his name, just drafted by the Blues in the 3rd round.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. When you read that question about, attending...
Were you thinking of the home run derby?
No. I was thinking of the Malice at the Palace.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, but then we went down, the injury route.
Yeah. Well, I was going to go to the first time I saw, two times in Russia, where I saw the Spartak play St. Petersburg, and fans are just beating the living crap out of each other. And then when we had a derby game against the Red Army, and the super fans, the hooligans, were lined up outside where I could, my only window in my apartment at the rink. And I'm watching these people just absolutely pound the snot out of each other. It looked like Braveheart.
Oh, jeez.
And then the Army people come in with the billy clubs, and they just start beating everybody. until they stop fighting. And then they all go in the building like an hour before the game, an hour and a half before the game. They sit in their areas, their supporters, and they start singing and chanting, and they're all hammered. And like, I'm walking to the dressing room from my apartment at the rink, and it's half full.
The boiler room.
It's half full. The people are chanting. I'm like, what is going on here right now?
Wow.
That was pretty wild from like that kind of a...
Man. All right, we'll continue our Sports Six-Pack next on 101 ESPN.
Jamie Rivers, you're joined by my good friend Tracy Bibb from the Bibb Agency. And a couple things, Tracy. I guess number one is the weather really tough out there today. A lot of flooding in certain areas. You got to make sure you're insured the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at that, if you're looking at water coming into your car, like flooded vehicles, if you have comprehensive coverage on that vehicle, then you're going to have coverage for that situation. As far as homes go, if you've got water coming in over your foundation, you need to have a flood policy for those kind of things. Definitely something that we can help with here at the agency. Granted, not going to be soon enough if you had the situation happen today. Also, endorsements like having that water backup on your policy is going to be important if water came up through a sewer drain or your sump pump failed. All things we talk about at the Bibb Agency. And the awesome news today is, as of Monday, we have new home insurance rates. So a great time to call us and talk to us about your home insurance. And if you've got a new roof recently, regardless of if it was during a claim, we can help you with that too at the Bibb Agency.
Yeah, they can. They can help you through all of it. And when you call there, you get somebody who knows you and knows your policy and is ready to help you immediately. So give Tracy Bibb a call, please, today at 314-328-4260. Again, that's 314-328-4260. Tracy, thank you so much for everything you do.
Thanks so much. Go Blues.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. This just in from Jeremy Rutherford. The Blues announced Torey Krug has been diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in his left ankle. He will be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. If surgery is needed, he could miss the 2024-2025 season. We'll talk about that here, but we also have our Sports Six-Pack. So continue sending in those questions. We'll finish the Sports Six-Pack. And we'll talk more about Torey Krug coming up shortly right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is now.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. As Marsh just noted, we've got some breaking news here involving the Blues and Torey Krug. So, Marsh, I know you want to kind of reset this thing. So go ahead and release what the Blues just released.
Yeah, so this is, I saw this from Jeremy Rutherford. This is why it pays to have all of our favorite people on
right here in this room. I agree, Marsh.
Well, yes, of course. You know, but the notifications for Twitter, you got to have your notifications on. But anyways, Jeremy Rutherford, he tweeted out, St. Louis Blues announced Torey Krug has been diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in his left ankle, will be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. If surgery is needed, he could miss the 2024-2025 season. Here, we'll just right off the bat.
Question number 4.
What does this mean for the Blues and for the defensive core and for Torey Krug?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves too much here. Apparently, the path going forward it has been discussed with from Doug Armstrong and Torey Krug. They discussed the injury and they both agreed that this was the best path to take. They're going to try and do the non-surgical procedure first. It could be, could take 6 to 8 weeks to find out if surgery might be needed or not. So there have been talks. It also shed some light on why he signed Ryan Suter. Because had there been talks about this prior, which I would imagine it didn't just fall in their laps in the last 48 hours or so. If there were talks before, then Doug Armstrong had to pivot and had to go find a veteran left-handed shot defenseman, and he did in Suter. So what does this mean for the Blues and Torey Krug? For the Blues, it means that they could potentially be without their number one quarterback for the power play in Torey Krug. It also means that they could also put his $6.5 million on long-term injury reserve. So it won't hurt the team from a salary cap standpoint. They will still owe the player full boat for what he's doing. But the concern for me really goes back to the player. If Torey Krug is having these problems right now in his ankle, which is pivotal for skating. If he's having trouble...
How so?
Well, every stride you take, everything you do is the ankle's bent. And, yeah,
I was thinking the same
I'll be
thing.
watching you.
I'll look into it.
Yeah. So for the player, this is concerning because if he has to go 2 months with non-surgical procedures and then you get to the end of that 2 months and then you have to find out you need surgery, then you miss a whole season, like that stinks if you're the player.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you want to make sure you get it right. So instead of forcing your way through, maybe injuring yourself even more, hurting yourself, and also maybe hurting your stock, just where you rank in the league, period, dot, it's not always the greatest idea, too. Yeah. So I think that both sides are handling this the right way. Get healthy, whichever way that is. If it's 2 months from now that you feel fine with non-surgical procedure, then great. But if it's the surgery and you got to stay, to sit for the whole season, again, just get it right.
I have so many thoughts.
Yeah. Penny, for your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think most people would assume like that's convenient, not for him, but for the Blues, right? If you are, as you said, you can be on LTIR and not have to be part of the team, so to speak, and you can replace him with other players, essentially a player that you were trying to move last year, it does benefit the St. Louis Blues. For him, it's kind of a catch-22. Is that I don't know if he probably is really injured, because I don't know that most players would say, hey, no, I don't want to play an entire season. Like, sitting out an entire season is not
He
ideal.
said no to waiving his no-trade clause.
Exactly.
So I can tell you right now, he's not faking injury.
That's what I'm saying. I doubt that a player, but you can see the mindset of some people, how that could be very convenient for the Blues.
Especially with the Vegas Golden Knights and some of the shenanigans that have gone on over there. And I'm not claiming that they're shenanigans entirely. But, you look at the LTIR being used and whatnot. I don't think that's the case here. And I don't think this is brand new. I said it 2 seconds ago. I think that they've probably been mulling this over for a while now.
Right.
And, the player probably definitely being reported to me that Army and Krug both talking about this and both agreeing upon the decision.
Right.
Again, I'll go back to the no trade clause. Torey Krug didn't like what he heard from Doug Armstrong before.
Yeah.
He told him, no. Forget you.
Yeah.
I got a no trade clause and I'm exercising that.
Right.
I guarantee if Torey Krug didn't like what Army had to say this time,
same thing.
he'd tell him the same thing.
Yeah.
So they're obviously on the same page.
All right, we'll wait. We'll get into this next segment, too. Go ahead and continue with the Sports Six Pack.
Question number 5.
Let it ruminate. Jamie will make some calls, especially to his doctor.
They'll call him.
My doctor?
Everybody calls him.
Yeah.
The red phone goes off. There it is.
There it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Army can't talk right now. I'm on the air.
From the 636, do you guys think the National League has any chance tonight? The American League is absolutely stacked.
Yeah, I thought that there was no way in hell Alec Boehm was going to do anything in the home run derby. Wound up having the best round of anybody.
Yeah.
So, yes, even though the American League is stacked, crazier things have happened. National League, I don't even know, what are the odds? Do you guys know?
No, haven't looked yet.
All right.
I don't know.
Am I the only one that bet the board?
Probably.
Oh, God, here he is.
Thanks for
National League's plus 100.
Am I the only one that hit bet the board?
I didn't know. I was asking.
Yeah, you knew.
I think you knew.
You knew. Trust me, Anthony, you knew.
I knew.
Come on, man.
Little payback for the crap sandwich I took earlier from you two. How'd you guys do? Good?
I was like 50 home runs away.
I was a lot away.
Okay.
Big, strong guy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing with the National League. I see Paul Skeens maybe going complete game no-hitter on this one.
Are you kidding me? They're not gonna let him
Tell
pitch.
everybody else, sorry.
Yeah. This is his show.
We're
now.
winning.
That is going to be fun, though, to watch Paul Skeens against the top of...
Did you all see I sent it in the group. Did you see that he was on the Dan Patrick show when he got the news that he would be the starter?
No, what'd he say?
Nothing. He's
stone cold.
Stone cold.
He was like
killer.
Bennington with the overtime goal.
So he's a psychopath?
He's a total psychopath.
Cool. Then I love it.
Dan Patrick's like, yeah, that's really. He's like, yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's good, Dan.
So Torey Lavello called in to the Dan Patrick show.
Oh, that's
to
cool.
let him know that he was going to be the all-star starter. And he was like, huh. All right, guys, I'm excited. Yeah, it's cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. It was stone-faced, stone cold.
I don't think he was very
Paul
surprised.
All right, I'm excited.
It'll never happen, but I want Paul Skeens in the Cardinals uniform yesterday.
Yes.
Do you think he goes 2 innings, or do you think he only throws
He
one?
throws one inning.
I'll go one.
Somebody said already it's 1 inning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you want to give, it doesn't
9
count.
pitches, 3
doesn't
strikeouts.
Oh, you think so?
Probably.
Hey, it'll count for us.
The AL guys haven't seen him, Anthony.
Yeah, right. They've never seen that sort of talent. Yeah. So, yes,
Question
I think
number
National League
6.
is a shot.
From the 314, 2004 was the last Cardinal team that was feared around baseball. Do you boys agree?
Yes.
What was the question?
2004 was the last Cardinals team that was feared around baseball.
I love when Jamie just doesn't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like
He'll be honest about it. Huh?
Yesterday,
What's that?
I gave the group a suggestion. Literally I said, you know what? We should take some of our comments and our audio and replay it throughout the show. And Jamie said, you guys, listen. You know what we should do? We should take our audio. And I said, yeah, Jamie, that's a hell of an idea. I literally just said it.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I wasn't listening.
It wasn't 30 seconds.
It was not.
You stopped talking. He picked it up. said the exact same thing.
I had no idea either.
Yeah.
My gosh.
I was like, that's a great idea. I actually just said it.
Mm-hmm.
You did?
I was like, I had no idea what you just said.
Have you guys ever been the victim of saying a joke, but it was too quiet, and then someone next to you says it, and then everyone else starts laughing? You're like, I just said that joke. That was my
all
joke.
I can think about is the Key and Peele skit. Have you seen that?
Which
I think
one?
so.
Where one of them like makes the joke, but he's only saying it to the other one. So they're in like a classroom setting, and then the other one says it
out
to
loud.
the class, and everybody's dying laughing. Yeah, it's pretty good. Anyways, all right, we'll get back into this Torey Krug situation. If you don't know, Torey Krug likely to miss the entire season for the Blues as he's dealing with arthritic changes in his left ankle.
I have to Google that.
Whatever that means.
I have that in my elbow.
Yeah.
I have that in my hands, my shoulders, my knees.
John, I think from the Snake Pit goes, I have that all over my body. We'll get into this, what it may mean for the Blues next on 101 ESPN. the breaking news here locally is that the defenseman for the Blues, Torey Krug, has been diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in left ankle. Did you guys Google what that means? Basically, arthritis.
Yeah. I need a bit of a translator on some of this. I should have probably just called my girlfriend. She would have probably explained it, although she would have used big words too. And then
we don't need big words.
Yeah,
not here.
I'm like, hey, big brain, settle it down a little bit.
Right.
Can you write it in crayon for me, please?
Slow down. Talk to me like I'm 4.
Basically, it's just like it sounds. There's changes going on in that area in his ankle. The arthritis is apparently, from what I'm reading here, it's like speeding up, so it's causing a problem. I don't know how you fix it. I haven't got to that point yet on the little quiz here.
You're going WebMD. He's taking a test.
Diagnosis.
He's putting his symptoms in.
You put in the symptoms to anything, Garrett, he's dying.
It's very true.
Yeah. My daughter does that. I've got a bit of a cold, and she's like, Dad, I've got the plague.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Right.
No, you don't.
I have a small earache.
Oh, Carey.
What is that?
That's the creaky elbow. Right there.
Yeah, that's what it was. Right. All right,
Every morning when I wake
Sound
up.
like you after a bowl of chili.
Yeah.
Some of that skyline chili.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Come on now. All right, so Blues president of hockey operations and general manager Doug Armstrong announced today that defenseman Torey Krug has been diagnosed with these changes in his left ankle. The injury is a result of bone fracture suffered earlier in his playing career. Krug will work to rehab the injury through non-surgical interventions over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks. After that time, he will be reevaluated to determine whether or not surgery will be necessary. Krug is officially considered to be out indefinitely, and if surgery is required, he will be unavailable for the entirety of the 24-25 Blues season.
And I think
this is straight from the Blues, by the way.
Yeah.
Got the logo and everything.
And I think it's important, too, to stress that Torey Krug and Doug Armstrong came to this decision mutually agreeing that this was the best path. Because it's easy, and Carey, I know like you said, it's easy to jump on the train of, there's something going on here. You put on the tinfoil hat. And So I think that right now, until we have further information, and the information that we've been given is that they sat down, they've put together a plan for both the player and the team, and it'll be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks and see where they go from there.
Yes.
I want to paint a picture that isn't there.
Okay, so we'll walk delicately here, but if Torey Krug is out indefinitely, he's out for the season, talk to us about what this means for the team.
Well, again, it means
on ice, off the ice.
Well, on ice, you've lost, a top 4 defenseman that runs your power play. And the power play stunk at the beginning of last season, but then once Drew Bannister took over, your power play was pretty good.
Yes.
And Torey Krug was a big piece of that. Torey Krug and Robert Thomas had real good chemistry on the power play.
So who takes over?
Well, by default, it's Scott Perunovich. If he can be an everyday player.
Do you think Perunovich, this is part of the reason why Perunovich, because there were some questions about whether or not the Blues bring back Scott Perunovich. Do you think that Army had maybe an inkling that things could be changing here with Krug, and he decides to bring back Perunovich, who got himself a 1-year deal?
Well, every team at the end of the year has exit medicals. And that's when
things pop up.
Well, just whatever, right? If you got injured during the season, in the playoffs, last week of the season, whatever it is, they go over everything with you so that they can get you right as fast as possible. And I would imagine that this probably popped up at some point, maybe during the season or even at the exit medical. And at that point there, Doug Armstrong has to think to himself, well, the only guy we really have that can fill that role is Scott Perunovich. Now, is he ready to do it full time? I don't know. But at $1.5 million, it's worth the experiment.
Yeah.
And so now Scott Perunovich, not only does he have to prove that he can be a number 1 power play quarterback, he's got to prove he can play every night. Because that's the one thing he couldn't do last year, is prove to the coaching staff in the front office that he's an every single day player. Now, this might thrust him into that spot because you need that quarterback on the power play. But if that's the case, Scott Perunovich has to start shooting the puck more. Mm-hmm. He has to be an option to shoot the puck. Last year, teams figured him out quickly, that he was never going to shoot the puck, so they never worried about it. and then the passing lanes just somehow disappear quickly on a young player like that. So we're getting into the weeds a little bit on that one, but that's a part of the game you're going to be missing with Torey Krug. You'll be missing that veteran leadership as well. But you signed Ryan Suter. So Ryan Suter comes with a ton of experience. He's a gritty player, played in all 82 games for like the last 2 seasons, and for most of the last 5 seasons, he's played the full entire season. He plays 18, 19 minutes a game, so I believe he will slot right in there to that second pair left shot defenseman. He's not a power play guy, so I don't think you'll see time there. I think you'll see Perunovic and probably Justin Falk will be your power play defenseman on first unit, second unit. Now, from a team standpoint, from an actual dollars and cents perspective, the Blues will still owe Torey Krug the entirety of his contract for next season. Like whatever he's being paid, $6.5 million, he'll be paid $6.5. But the Blues can put his entire salary on the LTIR. And what does that mean? How does that change things? Like who's still out there that Army could go sign if you wanted to? Who's, who knows?
Yeah.
And I don't even know if that's the pivot.
Right.
Because you're not going to know for 8 weeks if Krug is actually missing the season or not.
Sure.
So it's kind of risky to get ahead of it, and that's certainly not a Doug Armstrong move. However, they do have the cap space if Army wanted to tinker around and go sign a $4 or $5 million player.
Yeah.
And if Krug still plays, you still have the cap space. It's real tight. And again, it could mean nothing from a roster standpoint at all. Army might completely be done as it is.
I'd make the deal for Cale Makar.
Could you also, though, maybe not make a move right now and wait and see where your team's at the deadline? And if you're actually a contender, maybe you do make a decent splash and you have that money.
It's a great idea. It's perfect too. Honestly, I agree. I think that.
Marsh.
Thank you.
I think that that's something that you do. You find a player that maybe is towards the end of their contract, whatnot, and you go and do that. Bolster your lineup if you think you have a chance to get in there.
What are you laughing at?
Because the way you said thank you.
Thank you. I thought I had something on my face. I did take this pen.
You got a beard.
Put it up to my. Come on. Put it up to my nose, but I thought it was the other end, and it was the ballpoint pen.
Oh, no.
And I think it's all over my face now.
I can't see
It's
it.
like right here.
It's not here or here so much, but right here. No, I don't see it. You're good. All right, we've got the Gauntlet coming up next on 101 ESPN.
categories, one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Time for the Gauntlet 402. Your time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Corey. What's up, Corey?
How you doing, guys?
Doing great, man. First time in the Gauntlet for you?
No, Jamie squeaked out one of those random categories on me about 6 months ago.
Oh, it's a real squeaker, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that, Corey.
Fruit.
Corey, is this a revenge spot for you then?
No, can I take on Marcy?
Yes. Of course you can. Yeah, Marsh hadn't gone hadn't gone in a long time, and now he's gone back-to-back days here. All right, so go ahead and tell Marsh. Go ahead and tell Marsh to spin that wheel.
Wait, Marsh gets to spin the wheel? That's not fair.
No, he spins it and we kick him out.
Yeah.
All right, Marcy, spin the wheel.
All right.
Now we kick him out. Marshy, get out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that we kick him out.
He's out. Corey, what category are you hoping for?
Hockey.
Oh, wow. Really, Corey?
Marsh in hockey.
I like the strategy.
No, I want anything but hockey, but I know if I said hockey.
Well, guess what? You got football, buddy.
Oh, good deal.
There you go.
Well played.
Got foosball here. All right.
I've been around a time or two.
There you go. I've been around. All right, 4 questions, all football. Same 4 questions will be given to both Corey and to Marsh. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options. If you ask for the options, it's worth 1 point. Corey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. By the way, Marsh's stash from the Snake Pit goes, best chance for this guy to be, best chance for this guy is to be a terrible person.
You're a good guy.
Yeah, Marsh crushes you if you're a nice dude. Yeah, so Corey, I hope for your sake you're a terrible human being. All right, here we go. Question 1. Which Ravens player who played for the team from 2005 to 2010 is Baltimore's franchise leader in career receiving yards?
Give me the op.
Mark Clayton, Derek Mason, or Todd Heap?
What were the first 2?
Mark Clayton, Derek Mason, or Todd Heap?
Todd Heap, final answer.
All right, Corey. Question 2. Mark Andrews is 3rd on the Ravens list of career receiving yards. He played his college football at which university?
Oklahoma, final answer.
Question number 3. When the Ravens won their most recent Super Bowl against the 49ers, who was their Super Bowl MVP?
Give me the options.
Is it Joe Flacco, Ray Lewis, or Anquan Bolden?
Joe Flacco, final answer.
All right. Final question for you, Corey. Joe Flacco was recently signed as a free agent by Indianapolis, not including the Colts. How many teams has Flacco played for in his NFL career?
What was this question again?
Joe Flacco was recently signed as a free agent by Indianapolis, not including the Colts. How many teams has Flacco played for in his NFL career?
3, final answer.
All right.
All right, let's get Marshy.
Corey, how you feeling?
That last one. I can't remember if he played for AFC East team or...
Yeah. Well, Marsh is making his way back in from the Kona Silence right now. He's going to pop on his headphones here.
Hopefully after this I can hit Marsh. You're wrong again, Ernie.
It's fair, it's foul, it's fair, it's foul.
All right, Marsh, you ready?
I'm ready.
Your category today is football.
Okay.
How you feel?
I feel okay.
All right, Jamie, tell him how he feels.
Well, you better pack a lunch, young man.
Oh, boy.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Which Ravens player who played for the team from 2005 to 2010 is Baltimore's franchise leader in career receiving yards?
What year?
Which Ravens player who played for the team from 2005 to 2010 is Baltimore's franchise leader in career receiving yards?
Oh, boy. It's not coming to my head right now. Let's use the options.
Mark Clayton, Derek Mason, or Todd Heap?
I'll go Todd Heap. I know he's a tight end, but I feel like that guy was always involved. Final answer.
All right, Marshy, question 2. Mark Andrews is third on the Ravens' list of career receiving yards. He played his college football at which university?
No idea. Options.
Was it Texas A&M, Oklahoma, or Texas?
I'm going to go with A&M. Final answer.
Question number 3. When the Ravens won their most recent Super Bowl against the 49ers, who was their Super Bowl MVP?
I think was it Joe Flacco? Or was it a defensive player? Is Joe Flacco a Super Bowl MVP? Jamie thinks he's a Hall of Famer, and he would have to have one, I think. I'm gonna go with Joe Flacco. Final answer. I feel like it might be too obvious, but I don't feel comfortable about those other questions, so I got to shoot from the hip.
All right, last question. Joe Flacco was recently signed as a free agent by Indianapolis, not including the Colts. How many teams has Flacco played for in his NFL career?
All right, so we have we'll just maybe work backwards here. The Browns. We have the Jets. Obviously, we have the Ravens. I feel like there's another it's either 3 or 4. I feel like there's another team in there, but I don't know which one. Oh man, it's got to be 3 or 4. I can't think of the other team, so I'll say 3. Final answer.
All right, let's go over these. When the Ravens won their most recent Super Bowl against the 49ers, who was their Super Bowl MVP? Corey, you said Joe Flacco. Marsh, you said Joe Flacco. Correct answer is
future Hall of Famer, Joe Flacco.
But Marsh didn't need the options on that one, so he's got a 2-1 lead over Corey. Which Ravens player who played for the team from 2005 to 2010 is Baltimore's franchise leader in career receiving yards? Corey, you said Todd Heap. Marsh, you said Todd Heap. Correct answer is
Derek Mason.
Derek Mason. I would have said Todd Heap too, for what it's worth. Marsh still with a 2-1 lead over Corey. Joe Flacco was recently signed as a free agent by Indianapolis, not including the Colts. How many teams has Joe Flacco played for in his NFL career? Corey, you said 3. Marsh, you said 3. Correct answer is
Ravens, Jets, Browns, Broncos, 4.
That's right.
Marsh thought there was a 4th team, couldn't think of the 4th team, so he decided to go with 3 as well.
He said, I can't remember the 4th team. I can't, so I'll go with 3. It doesn't mean he didn't play there.
Well, I didn't know if he did play for another team.
He wanted to verify.
And now I remember, because I think, who else was there? Brock Osweiler?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
He went there immediately after the Ravens.
Yes.
You're wrong again, Ernie.
All right, so Corey down by 1. It comes down to this. Mark Andrews is third on the Ravens' list of career receiving yards. He played his college football at which university? Marsh, you went with Texas A&M. Corey, you went with Oklahoma.
Oh, no. I know where this is going.
Correct answer is
Oklahoma.
it is Oklahoma.
Say it.
Corey didn't need the options. Corey.
You have chosen wisely.
Corey wins 3-2. Nice job. You'll be back tomorrow, Corey.
Thanks, guys.
Congrats,
You're wrong
man.
again, Ernie.
Good job, Corey.
Nice job.
Thanks, Marcy.
All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow, man.
See you guys.
Oh, Marsh, I thought for
Confirmed.
sure you were going to say 4.
Corey, horrible human being.
Horrible human being. Yeah, or else Marsh would have wiped the floor with him.
That's right.
Marsh, I thought for sure when you said, I'm pretty sure he played for another team, so I'm gonna, but I can't remember it. I'm gonna go with. I thought you were gonna say 4.
I thought he was going to say 4 automatically.
Should have. Should
Sorry,
have, could have,
bud.
would have.
Sorry, man. All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Do the Cardinals absolutely have to get it right with Jordan Walker? That's next on 101 ESPN. Jamie, Anthony, and we called our guy Stewie today from Stewart's American Mortgage Corporation. Stewie, one of the things that I love that you do is that when somebody refis and you're an existing customer, you'll actually call them back if there's another opportunity for them to refi, or they can call you to check in to make sure that they're still getting the best deal possible, the best rate.
Anthony, that's our job. Our job is to watch the market for you. So we've been calling customers all day today. Rates are dropping. Hey, you know what? You bought this home 6 months ago. You refinanced 6 months ago. We can save you 0.5% lower on the rate, $100, $200, $300. Easy. Today alone, 15 applications I did of previous customers. You can take the opportunity too. I don't know what rate you have if you're not an existing customer of ours. Become an existing customer of ours. We'll watch it for you. Rates go down. We'll refinance you for free with the bagel loan. Take advantage while you can.
How about that for customer service? Hey, Stewie goes in, does all the work for you, and then brings you a better deal. I don't know about you, Anthony, but that is exactly who I'm trusting, and that's who our listeners should trust as well. And all you have to do is pick up the phone and call him or text him his personal cell phone number. That number's 314-324-4440.
Again, if you missed that number, 314-324-4440.
And you heard Stewie talking about the bagel loan just a couple seconds ago. If you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can you do?
Well, you can always Google the bagel loan. Thanks, Stewie.
Have a good night, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Last night on 101 ESPN, we've talked several times about John Mozeliak, his comments made to Jim Hayes over the weekend from Bally Sports Midwest. One of the areas of one of the topics of conversation was on Jordan Walker. Here's what Mo had to say to Jim Hayes about Jordan Walker. And what's interesting about this is maybe it's an indication of whether or not Jordan Walker stays in Memphis this season. Here's Mo.
Well, I think we got to remind ourselves we have to be patient. It's always tough to make dramatic changes in a season. There's no doubt about it. I think what we're trying to do is lay the foundation so when he enters this offseason, he has a strategy and a plan to work on it. And spoke with Ben Johnson just yesterday. He's excited about the baby steps he's making, and we're going to just keep trying to build on that. But overall, you got to remind yourself, he's 22 years old. He has enormous upside, and for us, we just have to be a little patient. But expectations of him being a key player for the St. Louis Cardinals in years to come are very real.
All right, I don't know what you guys heard. Here's a couple of things that I wrote down, though. He said, be patient with Jordan Walker, not once but twice. Right at the end there, he said expectations for him down the road in future seasons. Again, Jordan Walker indicating that it's maybe not right now, not immediately. He's only 22 years old.
He also said you don't want to make dramatic changes.
You don't want to make dramatic changes during a season.
Yeah.
Reminded us of his immense upside, but again, just be patient.
He ain't coming back this year.
That's the take I have too.
Yeah.
And if you take a step back and you say, okay, you're trying to win games, you're trying to catch the Brewers to win the division. Is there a spot right now for Jordan Walker? And the answer is no. Because you have guys with either more big league experience that have proven themselves. You also have Tommy Edman coming back at some point, very soon, we think. And then you've got, guys like Alec Burleson that have earned the right to stay in this lineup. So where are you going? Let's just say we want Jordan Walker up. Can you make the case that he should be on the roster right now, or as soon as right after Tommy Edman comes back? The answer to me is no. So I understand why he's saying that, maybe laying the expectations of, you might not see this kid until next year.
I think two things would have to happen for Jordan Walker to be back this year. Right now, he's batting .243, an OPS, on base percentage of .311, and slugging .372.
Not great.
Not great, right? You need that to be better. You need those numbers to be better. And you're probably looking at, unfortunately, someone being injured in the outfield in one of those corner positions or even in center field, because you could probably convince yourself to slide Newt over to center if you had a couple of guys injured. I think those are the two things that are going to be required for him to be back on the everyday roster playing every single day. Is him performing with higher numbers, hitting harder, hitting the ball harder, hitting the ball better, and somebody getting injured. Because at this point, you don't have a need to take Brendan Donovan out of left field. You don't have a need to take Lars or Alec Burleson out of right field. Michael Ciani is doing a really good job in center field, and then Tommy Edman is going to be back. That outfield is going to be packed again. So I think those are the two things that are going to need to happen for him to have a spot on the roster this season.
So injuries aren't going to do that either, and the reason I say that is because you had Newt and Edman on the shelf injured, both of them outfielders, and you still didn't call them up.
Well, I'm saying because he wouldn't. I said both of those things have to happen.
Yeah,
hitting and injuries.
I think it's a year of development for Jordan Walker. I think it's what he needs. You can go back to him playing in the majors last year, and he had some success. He ended up having an okay season, but ultimately, it appears like he wasn't ready full time. And now I think the Cardinals, I hate to say they have to be patient because, boy, that's a trigger around here. But you have to let the player marinate properly down there.
Yeah.
He's not dominating AAA baseball right now, which is a problem for me. Because for a player of that ilk to be down there and not destroying pitching, that means there's something off right now. It ain't right. Yeah. And I don't think bringing him up to the majors where the pitchers are even better is going to help him. Now, do I think that once they expand the rosters late in season, if Jordan Walker is seeing the ball better, do I think he might come up for a series or something just to kind of see where he's at? It's possible. But then again, if I'm the Cardinals, I almost don't want to do it because I don't want to just start all the crap again. Let him just finish out his season in Memphis. Right now, his bat wouldn't play in your lineup, so it's not like you're missing anything. And he's 22 years old. Let him develop the right way so that when he does come back next time, he is that bat that you need.
Yeah.
he's able to contribute offensively for your team for years to come.
So Marsh kind of threw out this question to us of, do the Cardinals absolutely have to get it right with Jordan Walker? I looked at this a couple of different ways. One, in the public perception of Mo, yeah. Because if not, then this is just going to be more dirt piled on to Mo's grave. To Mo's grave in terms of like the Cardinals, how Cardinals fans perceive Mo and the job that he has done of late. So I would say yes. And maybe even the obvious answer is, yeah, of course, they've got to get it right with Jordan Walker. He was their first-round pick for, 2011 or I'm sorry, 2021. But then if you think back to it and you think about like the Astros, a lot of people, in fact, Jamie, you had brought this up a couple of days ago. Some people are saying, well, the Astros tanked. That's how they're able to, do what they did. Yes and no, because they had back-to-back first overall picks in 2013 and 2014. Mark Appel and Brady Aiken were their picks. You guys heard of those guys? You guys following their careers?
I've heard of him.
But nothing like, no. Obviously not a first overall
obviously
pick.
Not.
Worthy of.
What's his name?
Brady Aiken.
Is that Clay Aiken's brother?
Clay Aiken's brother.
No, it's actually a cousin.
It's a cousin.
It's a cousin.
First removed. Gotcha. Mom's side. So those two guys did not pan out. Did the Astros go on and have the ultimate success without those guys? Did they have to have those guys bank? No. Because in previous years, they drafted George Springer, 11th overall, Carlos Correa, 1st overall, Lance McCullers, 41st overall, Alex Bregman, 2nd overall, Kyle Tucker, 5th overall. Like, the tank is part of it, right? But do you have to hit on absolutely every pick? No. But you do need to compensate. If Jordan Walker is a miss, then you better get Alec Burleson right. You better get Mason Wynn right. You could still win if Walker's a miss. But in terms of public perception, people will say, well, but, Mo doesn't know what he's doing. He drafted Jordan Walker and they ruined him.
At what point do you think Walker's a miss? Because Mo has kind of screwed up the market on Dylan Carlson.
Yeah.
By letting that just work itself out.
Sure.
But it went in the wrong direction.
And him being injured has not helped at all.
At all.
Yeah.
I don't
think we're there.
Yeah, well,
I don't think we're close.
The kid hasn't even really played.
Yeah.
Like, I would say you're probably looking at 2026 before you would say like all of next season, and then pretty much all of 26. If it was like July, August of 26, and it's still not coming around, you would probably say at that point, yeah, this is probably. Because I think you do need an entire season, a year and a half, preferably 2 years to kind of have that everyday opportunity, play, fail, do well, and be able to figure it out. And if you don't get that consistent playing, I think it's hard to have success.
Yeah. Well, we'll see with Jordan Walker, but it doesn't sound like he's coming up anytime soon here, based on Mo's comments.
Unless he just tears it up in the rest of the
But he's got to start doing that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because he's not.
Unless he just, something clicks.
Yeah.
But
I think we need to be patient. I think we need to understand that he's 22.
Thank you, Mo.
I think we need to understand that he's got a bright future.
Thank you, Mo. Appreciate it.
In the future.
All right.
At the end of the day.
At the end of the day.
And you can't get him from my cold, dead hands.
Net. Jordan Walker's going to be a good player down the road.
There you go.
Oh, in Kansas City?
But we just need to be patient.
In St. Louis.
We said down the road. Maybe he's trading to the Royals.
No. I meant north. Are You Sold is next. If you have an Are You Sold, what? St. Louis is north of Memphis.
Oh, wow.
Good. I see what you did there.
I meant the White Sox. 314-399-9646 is your comfort service text line. We'll play Are You Sold next.
Stella Artois is partnering up with Hot Ones to bring you hot wings and hot trivia questions here to the St. Louis area. You can sign up now to compete in the next Hot Ones event, which will be held at Helen Fitzgerald's this Thursday night from 6 to 8 p.m. with yours truly hosting it. Had a chance to do this before. It was a lot of fun. The trivia is great. The Hot Ones are certainly hot. And, of course, the Stella Artois is fantastic as well. They'll be handing out samples of that, too, throughout the evening. And if you want to sign up, it's easy. Just hit any Cyberg's Hot Shots location, Helen Fitzgerald's. They've got a little card on the table. It's got a QR code on it. Just scan that and sign up and be a part of it. If you don't want to compete at all, no problem. Just show up, have a great time, support the ones who are competing, watch all the festivities, enjoy that Stella Artois like I was talking about, and there are attendance prizes as well. So please don't forget to get involved or get out to Helen Fitzgerald's this Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. with yours truly, Jamie Rivers, hosting the trivia night, and that's brought to you by Stella Artois and Hot Ones.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The big news today in St. Louis is that Torey Krug has been diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in his left ankle and will be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. If surgery is necessary, Torey Krug would miss the entire 2024-2025 season. We talked about that earlier in the show. If you missed that or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. Just head to the podcast page and you'll find all of our interviews and full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have Are You Sold coming up next, so if you have an Are You Sold statement you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Are You Sold coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this SportsCenter update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Fastline on 101 ESPN. Time to play Are You Sold? 314-399-9646 is the Air Comfort Service text line with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Marsh, go.
All right, the first one comes from the Water Boy. Are you sold that Jamie has so many Speedos that he currently owns a 101 ESPN Speedo that he hasn't shown the rest of the guys yet?
He hasn't shown me any, and I'm going to prayerfully keep it that way.
Oh, whatever,
Nah,
Carey.
I don't want to see it. I'm good.
Stare right at it. Laser beams.
I'm not sold because if Jamie had a 101 ESPN Speedo, he absolutely would have shown us by now in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm. You know what, Anthony? You're probably right. Whether or not we wanted to see it, yeah. I mean, you just show it.
Oh, no. You don't just
or you
hold
put it on.
No, no.
All of a sudden, we turn around looking to talk about the show, and there he is in this 101 Speedo.
Well, some of the best decisions are the ones that you don't make for yourself.
Really?
It's true.
Is that true?
Like, you may not know that you needed to see it until I show you. And then you're like, I'm glad I looked.
I don't know if that's true, Marsh.
Yeah.
Doesn't apply for this?
I don't know if this applies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope.
I credit you for the out of the box thought. Yet I award you no points.
Way out of the box.
May God have mercy on your soul.
Well, thank you.
I don't currently have a 101 Speedo yet, but that's a hell of an idea. I know that Tommy had talked about shooting a calendar.
Bless you. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, all the sports teams.
Nice.
Yeah, man, that'd be funny.
Okay.
All of us, though, together.
In a Speedo?
Yeah.
I think you can handle that.
Yeah.
Now there's 12 months. There's not 12 teams.
No, we'd have to get creative.
Well, Jamie has 3 NFL teams.
I do.
Very true.
NFL teams. We got flags too. It could be, like in July, it could be the Freedom Bird.
That's true. You can do that. Absolutely.
Rocked that out a few times.
Yeah.
Certainly have.
It's a good call. Maybe an alternate, maybe a City Connect thong.
We could
be.
There was one I put on not too long ago. It wasn't supposed to be a thong.
Wound up being one.
But my backyard is a little big.
Sure.
It's
got that hockey ass.
healthy. The kids will call it thick.
Oh, you're not talking about your actual backyard.
No.
I was going to say, because it is fairly big. You have the porch and, all the things on the outside. When the Cardinals are playing and they're winning, you're celebrating outside on the furniture.
Different backyard.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Very good, Marsh. The one I put on, there wasn't enough material to cover the real estate. The tarp wasn't big enough to cover the field.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay.
And it went right up there, and then the batter's box had things falling out of it, too.
Yeah. You need the Cardinals ground crew.
Could use an extra set of hands, that's for sure, Marshall.
Marsh, what else you got, kid?
Yeah, for sure. Here's the sports one from the 636. Are you sold if the NFL could do it all over? They would give St. Louis an expansion team instead of moving the Rams from L.A. Thanks, fellas. That's from Sean.
That would, Sean, I appreciated that. That would have been awesome. It would also require the NFL to give, how do I put this?
A damn?
Give a crap about St. Louis.
Yeah.
Which clearly they did not.
No.
Ultimately.
Yeah, St. Louis deserves another football team. I mean,
yes.
you lose 2 in a lifetime.
Give us an expansion team.
One that is our own
now.
And we love.
Please and now.
And we appreciate.
Yeah.
But then, numbers, they NFL would be complaining that an odd number. You have to add 2 teams probably.
They want to add 2 teams anyways. They want to put some team in London.
Well, put one in St. Louis.
Agreed. We're basically London.
Mm-hmm. We have a Ferris wheel.
The
totally. World's fair.
And somebody, around here probably sells tea.
Yeah, but it's not. Is it cold tea or hot tea? Or does it
Served
matter?
however you want.
How do they serve their tea?
Where in
over
England?
there? Yeah,
It's hot.
it is hot.
It is
Yeah.
tea.
It's in little cups, right?
In little wee cups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need a bigger cup.
Well, yeah, we do. We just do iced tea. So
Yeah. Man, I can't believe I like tea. You guys
iced
like tea?
I like iced tea.
The rapper?
Yeah.
He is pretty good.
Yeah.
SVU.
Colors. Remember that?
Colors.
You don't know me.
Food. There you go.
You just don't be cool.
Yeah. What he said.
I don't want England's tea. There's a reason why they threw that tea into the harbor, Anthony.
I thought that was the Boston Tea Party.
When do you think they put the tea in the bag? Like, honestly, at what point did they think about the tea bag?
I think they thought about that pretty early on.
Do you think?
Yeah, they loved their tea so much that they wanted to bag it.
But I think it started like with a little metal bag or whatever you call it, and they dropped that in.
That was
tea.
that was in Roman time.
Was it? I'm just wondering who came up with that great idea.
Yeah, the Romans.
Carey, your thoughts.
The Romans did that.
I think the bag was in there to separate the poison that the Romans were
Putting into the bags.
Yeah, it's like a filtration system.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that.
Kendrick Perkins
Yeah.
on TV.
Yeah.
He probably knows.
About tea?
Yeah, just talking about basketball.
Okay.
Yeah, tea. What else you got, Marsh?
Yeah, back to more sports. From the 267, are you sold? This is from Ethan. Are you sold that Giovanni Gallegos will be on the Cardinals roster come September?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I think
They can't get rid of a reliever.
That guy.
They can't.
Right.
They can't. They're looking for relievers. They can't get rid of.
I don't see them DFAing them.
No, not yet.
They're not going to eat that money. Hell, I don't even think they eat Brandon Crawford's money. We can't be wasting the money.
Interesting choice of words.
Oh, Jamie.
Jamie, you did that. That's you.
He is.
You did.
What is wrong with him?
What the hell, man?
They're not. What moves are they going to make, if any? They're not getting rid of anybody.
They're getting a reliever.
But they're not getting rid of a reliever and grabbing another reliever.
Nah.
Just
I
grab
got
another
Steven
arm.
They'll
Matz.
send
They'll get
somebody
another
down.
one.
They'll send somebody down.
It's like making a trade, right, Marsh?
It could be better.
It's already under contract. That's what Anthony wants to hear.
No, I don't.
You do.
But you know what? I'm going to remember this when you guys are all complaining about the Cardinals not making moves. And I'm going to look at all of you.
Whoa.
I'm going to look at Carey and Jamie and say, hey, Steven Matz is back. Isn't that like making a trade?
Yep.
And then when you guys are complaining.
Well, that's like a call up.
Oh, stop it. You're not getting out of this one, Jamie. I don't care how many Speedos you wear.
From the 636, are you sold on Torey Krug really being injured, or is it a ploy to stay in St. Louis even if he is waived?
I don't know if it's a ploy to stay in St. Louis as much as it's insurance for him to get paid.
No, I disagree. I think he's hurt. I think there's a legit injury there. And we'll see where it goes from there. I don't think there's any foul play on this one. The player before has exercised his no trade clause. He would do it again. And if someone was to allude to the fact that, we're just going to put you on the IR for an entire season, I think he'd tell them to go blank themselves.
Fair enough. All right, that's Are You Sold here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. So there's a graphic that was released talking about the Cardinals, not even the Cardinals, but all of Major League Baseball, how much they're spending. We're going to throw out some figures, and then we're going to discuss what it says about how the Cardinals spend their money. That's next on 101 ESPN.
When it comes to selling your home, you need a reliable, experienced, and trusted agent. Take it from me and get to know St. Louis's real estate expert. That's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And there's a couple reasons you should give Gloria a call. Gloria has a database with thousands of buyers that are ready, willing, and able to purchase your home. That drives a lot more traffic to your listing, hopefully makes it easier to sell your home. Maybe there's even multiple offers, which is happening a lot these days. And all of that means more money for you at the end of the deal. And Gloria Liu makes sure you get to the closing table with a good buyer. That's the thing. You don't want a deal to fall through. This is why you trust somebody like Gloria Liu, who's been in the business for as long as she has been, so that not only do you get a good price for your home, but you sell it and you get to the closing table, and that's important. It's also important that you pick up the phone and call Gloria. Tell her that Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. Again, 314-325-6888, or you can always visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. There was a graphic that our guy, I think it was Swan, wasn't it? Swan tweeted out to us, and we had pulled down. And so it was 2023 revenue, 2024 payroll, and then it listed all of the teams in Major League Baseball. The Cardinals were 10th in terms of revenue, $372 million, but the payroll was only $212 million.
Only?
57%. 57% was dedicated to the revenue generated last year's dedicated to this payroll. For comparison's sake, the Mets $393 million in revenue last year. $342 was spent on this year's payroll.
But you can't use the Mets. You can't because that owner doesn't matter. Right. Money is of no issue to him.
You're right, Doug. Blue Jays, $328 million. I'll use a Canadian team. Blue Jays, $328 million in revenue, $246 million in payroll, 75%.
It's also owned by Rogers. They got lots of money.
Okay, I'll use the Diamondbacks. $314 million in revenue, $220 million in payroll. That's 70.1%.
I'll give you that one.
Okay. Now, there's worse offenders, of course. The Rays, for example, they generated $301 million, and they only dumped $100 million into this year's payroll. It's 33.2%.
Making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money.
Keeping a lot of money.
Keeping a lot of money. Yeah.
Business model.
Business.
Actually, the
not
team's
for
been
your fans.
Well, the fans don't go anyways, no matter if they win or not.
I mean, it's true. Yeah. So what do you guys think about this? Now, Jamie, I think you've got the way that you were kind of setting things up here before I gave you the Diamondbacks. The way that you're setting it up, and I know you as a businessman, you think business-wise, and you have often defended the Cardinals' right as a business to make money. Yeah. When you hear this, only 57% was dumped back into the payroll compared to some of these other teams. I mean, they are 10th. It's not like they're awful when it comes to this.
No.
Do you still have the same thought that you've had in previous years?
Yeah, so here's where I look at it. And now, different businesses, there's different percentages, but ultimately, you'd like to be somewhere around a 45% expenditure on your salaries or whatever your expenses are crossing with your revenue stream. So the Cardinals are actually at 57%, means they're spending more than what you technically should to be a successful business. Now, these are massive numbers, so it's different. It's not like thousands of dollars. These are millions, $100 million, like $300 million in revenue. So the game is a little different, but still spending 57% of their revenue on payroll. I mean, first of all, with the revenue, there's going to be taxes on that too, right? It's not just that might be gross revenue coming in here. That's not net revenue. We don't know exactly how it is. And then that payroll going out, that's dollar for dollar going out.
Right.
So that number is actually smaller for the Cardinals. The revenue is going to be a lot smaller than $372 million when it comes to net revenue. And therefore, the net revenue, let's say it's $300 million. And then your outgoing is $212 million. That 57% goes way up. It puts them in a higher percentage of what they're spending, contrary to what they're making.
Sure.
But then I just look at the list. Mets, Blue Jays, those are big money teams. The Dodgers, the Phillies, the Astros. Like the Astros, $445 million is what they brought in. Like the Padres are the ones that don't belong here. They're clearly the ones that have done it the wrong way. They just have. Look at $345 million is what they brought in. $210 million, 60.9%, and you haven't done a damn thing as an organization. So right there is your first tell for anybody that says just spend. Go get this guy. Go get that guy. Go look at the Padres.
Yeah.
They've done everything that you are screaming at your radio every day.
Absolutely.
They've done it and done nothing.
Yeah.
Except have to wait and get a grant from the state and take out a loan for $50 million to cover their ass at the end of the year.
Right. You're right. Let's really focus on that because, Carey, I think you also fall into the category that a lot of Cardinals fans do. Yeah. It's like, hey, you Diamondbacks, put everything back into the team, spend big, make big moves, do what you have to do to give me a winner. The Padres have done exactly that. Like, don't use the Dodgers, don't use the Mets, don't use the Phillies, bigger markets. The Padres have a similar market, if not a smaller one, and they have been ultra aggressive. Manny Machado, Juan Soto, re-signing their own guys like Jake Cronenworth, making the deal for Luis Ariz. Like, they have made moves, not to mention all the pitching moves that they have made, and yet they have nothing to show for it.
Yeah.
Probably because they're the Padres.
That's possibly why. I mean,
or bleep organization.
Or they're in a tough division.
It's not fair. I shouldn't have said that.
They're in a tough division. No? You don't agree with that?
They have the Dodgers in the division.
It's a tough division. You stop there.
They've got the Dodgers in the division. I'll give you that.
The Diamondbacks.
We
talk about the Diamondbacks. They made it to the World Series last year, Anthony.
They certainly did.
About?
They fell into that.
But what does it say, guys? Let's go further down the line here. What does it say? What does it say about two teams in particular that I'm about to mention? The Yankees brought in $679 million.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Sox $500 million. And they're at 43.8 and 46.5%.
Yeah, Red Sox are from this standpoint. Red Sox you're an embarrassment.
Well, how about the Yankees?
Yankees, I'll cut you some slack because you've actually you've tried to get back to this point. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Like they were over the luxury tax laws. The Red Sox they have done, but they've always kind of tucked themselves underneath the Yankees. Like the Yankees, they spend a lot. They're the evil empire, really, because you're kind of doing the same thing,
right?
And now they've cut everything. They're to your point, Jamie, 43.8% of their revenue from a year ago because they're a cash cow.
Oh yeah,
they only put $219 into it. They're also having an okay season, so I don't know. I don't know what the lesson is here.
I think when you are talking about, it's not about just spending money frivolously. Like you can't normally buy yourself a championship. It's going to be difficult to do that, especially if you're the Cardinals and you're trying to buy and compete with teams, like you said, like the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's almost impossible. You're not going to be able to spend that money, but spending it wisely on players. And then also you can do better for yourself if you do sign those players earlier instead of waiting until they are going to hit the market or be closer to hitting the market and those numbers get way out of control so you don't feel comfortable. Signing your players younger and making sure that they're here for a number of years, you feel safer, you know that they're going to be here, you're not going to have to overspend for them,
right.
And it allows you to really have sustained success because those players are going to hopefully continue to compete at a high level.
Yeah, I just worry though, Carey. I like, in theory, I like what you're saying because you're maximizing the time with that player.
Correct.
Here. The problem with that model sometimes is that then you're married to the player through injuries and everything.
Yeah.
So if let's say you jumped the gun quickly and you wanted to extend Nootbaar and Edman a year ago because let's just for the exercise,
right.
for the sake of the exercise,
right.
You go and do that. And then all of a sudden there's injuries. Or Dylan Carlson comes off a pretty good season the 1 year. I think he was third in Rookie of the Year. And then the Cardinals go, hey, you know what? Before we worry about let's lock him up.
Yeah.
And then injuries and then bad play. And now you're sinking a whole bunch of money into guys who aren't contributing.
Right.
It's difficult. I think that there's a certain percentage of young player that is worth it, like Ronald Acuna Jr., like guys that they're just studs.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals don't have that. Like Mason Wynn would be the closest thing for me.
It would be after next season if he did pretty much exactly what he's done so far this year, all of this year, and then again next year in 2025 offseason, I would lock him up.
I would be okay with that. If the player can show me 2 seasons in a row where he's duplicating his play,
I wouldn't do it going into next season, but after next season.
He's the only one.
And he might be because he is a special talent. Like it's not, for me, those contracts aren't reserved for, no offense to Lars Nootbaar, no offense to Brendan Donovan, no offense to Tommy Edman. Those contracts aren't reserved for those players. Those contracts are reserved for Ronald Acuna. Like you sign him while he's younger because this guy is going to ascend into being a superstar and I got him for the cheap. And if he does get hurt for a couple of years like Acuna has, torn ACL, you're like, it's not great. But we did get a World Series, so even while he was hurt, you still have him in place, and going into next season, you're just starting it over. So it's I think those contracts are reserved for those superstar or the guys that you think are going to be superstar players.
That's Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Let's go back to the Torey Krug conversation. If you missed it earlier, Torey Krug dealing with arthritis in his ankle. He might miss the entire season. We cover different angles with it, including how this impacts the Blues, and we'll get back into that next on 101 ESPN. The Missouri Athletic Club is a fantastic spot. 2 different locations, one great clubhouse. So whether you're talking about the downtown location, great for Cardinals games during the summertime, or the West Clubhouse where I frequent, pretty much go there every day working out. A lot of times I'll get something to eat there, or I'll kind of talk to the other club members and things like that, find out what they have going on. It's a perfect spot, especially to bring the family to. Missouri Athletic Club, again, two great clubhouses, two great locations, one great clubhouse at Sam AC. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. If you're just joining us or just getting in your car, you don't know what's going on with Torey Krug, but you've heard something. Here's the latest. Blues defenseman Torey Krug diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in his left ankle. He'll be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. This came straight from the team. This came straight from Doug Armstrong. Krug will work to rehab the injury through non-surgical interventions over the course of the next 6 to 8 weeks. So in other words, he'll look to avoid surgery over these next 6 to 8 weeks, try to rehab the situation, rehab the injury, and then come back. He will be reevaluated after the 6 to 8 weeks. And if it's determined that he does need surgery, he's done for the 2024-25 season. I mean, he's 33. The way I'm looking at this, them bringing in Ryan Suter, I know they probably needed to bring him in anyways just to be cautious, but something tells me that he will need surgery and he will miss the entire season. And that's why we saw a lot of the decisions made by Doug Armstrong to either re-sign guys like Scott Perunovich or bring in guys like Ryan Suter.
So maybe, but
don't you maybe me? That's what happened.
No, I think there's been healthy dialogue between the team and the player. And I think that they're doing it the right way. Instead of just writing it off right now and say, hey, get the surgery, he's going to be done for the season anyways. Why not try the 6 to 8 week approach? Try to maybe get this right before training camp begins. Yeah. And if it doesn't, you're still missing the season, but at least you've tried to do it in a non-surgical way.
I'm completely fine with that. I'm just predicting that they have a good sense that he's going to miss the season.
They could, for sure. I mean, listen, signing Ryan Suter wasn't just something Doug Armstrong rolled over in the morning. He's like, yeah, I'm going to do something crazy today.
Yeah.
No, there was a purpose for it, for sure. And there's information.
He does crazy things, though. He's talked about stabbing people. So
he has talked about that. He might have it in him, too. But no, it's a situation where you have at least you went out and got a player.
Yeah.
This would be horrible if it just comes to light now and you don't have that player. Nobody left out there anymore. The music is stopped and you don't have a chair. So that's what leads me to believe that dialogue started a long time ago between Torey Krug and the team. And so we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. As it sits right now, if Torey Krug is out, if he's out, I think your top four is Leddy, Parayko, Falk, and Suter. And then from there, you've got Perunovic and Kessel, and then the field from that point.
I just wonder what it means for Krug, like in terms of, we talked about this. If you are, again, it's the timing is interesting. We know what happened last offseason. We know kind of what was going into this offseason. We talked about it last week. You got a lot of defensemen, not a lot of spots for those guys to all play, and for him to potentially be on LTIR, if he is injured, then yeah, you got to do it. But if you're not, and you're being asked to move and going that way, I think it makes it's almost difficult for the player, because at what point do you say, well, I want to continue my playing career? What does that look like? What does the future look like for Torey Krug past this season if, the Blues are planning to move on from him next season? If they we're going to put you on LTIR this year, move on from you next season, but now you got questions about this pre-arthritic ankle. How do other teams view you now, and what does it look like for your future as an NHL player?
Yeah, so let's go back just for a second. I think the injury is legit.
Nah, yeah.
And let's just go one step further. The Blues would be in so much trouble if they brought a scenario to the player saying, by the way, you're not going to play this year. You're hurt. Player, especially a player that you've already asked to waive his no-trade clause.
The players' union is not going to fly.
And the NHL would not be happy with that.
Correct.
It would be a massive violation. And one thing about Doug Armstrong is he is very careful.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of integrity. And I think that I don't see that being even possible. Okay? Other organizations, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how they do their business.
Right.
But I've been around this team enough to know that they keep their business pretty clean.
Yeah.
Especially with Tom Stillman and the ownership group, they would lose their minds if something filthy was going on like that. So what does it mean for the player ultimately? I think Torey Krug's at this point in his career where he's got to look at it being 33 years old and say, I've got to get this right. Because if he doesn't get it right and he goes out and he gets hurt even worse halfway through the season, it could be career-ending type stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get older and you have this arthritic stuff going on. You have bones that are healed the wrong way. It's not easy at all. So I think that the strategy, Torey Krug may actually have been, may have actually been spearheading it this way to get healthy, to increase his trade value if he wants to do that.
And we've been critical of his play, and maybe he's been dealing with this injury for a while.
Well, it didn't just happen, right?
Yeah,
I mean, Carey,
last night.
Think of all the injuries that you have.
Yeah.
Okay? Even when you were a player towards the end of your career, the injuries you got in year 1, year 2, year 3, they presented themselves in an ugly way in your last year. I know that too, because there's broken bones and things that I thought not a big deal. In my 3rd, 4th year, I don't care. Yeah, just tape it up. I don't care how it heals.
Yeah.
And then by year 10 and 11, I'm like, oh my God.
I care how it heals.
Why does this hurt so much? Oh, because it healed wrong. You didn't take care of it properly when you should have.
Well, why didn't anybody tell me?
They did.
They did.
Chose
I
not
just
to.
said, I'd rather not lose my spot in the lineup.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tape it up.
So I think Torey Krug, I think this is a very cautious approach for him. Hopefully it's the right decision. Hopefully the player gets healthy, whether it's after the 8 weeks or following the surgery and then into next season. But Army did what he had to do is he made a savvy business move and covered that spot on the roster with a player that he thought could contribute in Ryan Suter.
How do you think the Blues have done this offseason, all things considered? Like, I know it wasn't going to be a busy offseason from the standpoint of, hey, they're going to bring in a whole bunch of free agents. And if you were expecting that, even with the cap space, I think the expectations might have been too high. But if you judge the Blues offseason following today's news, have they improved? Have they improved enough to bump out an existing playoff team? Have they done enough to really shorten the gap from being a non-playoff team but kind of on the brink last year to now being a playoff team?
So you know how close they got last year, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And one would argue that if they do their business and take care of the Sharks and take care of the Blue Jackets and those games there, they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That team that ended the season last year for the Blues is not as good as this team is right now.
Fair.
So based on that logic alone, the Blues got better. Now, did some of the teams in the division get better? Did the Predators go out and kill a housefly with a sledgehammer? They did. They did. So you've got work to do. But this team right now, as it sits, this team is better on paper than it was at the end of last season. And that's not even bringing in the argument that Bolduc is going to have a major part. Dvorsky, Zach Dean. What are the young guys going to bring? If they bring nothing and this is what your roster is, and you're better than last year. And I think you got bigger up front with a couple of those big bodies. You got faster. You kept speed and Kasperi Kapanen. I thought that was a really smart, safe move. Sign him to $1 million. He's your role player. He's fast as anybody in the league. He works hard. He's going to eat up minutes for you. He makes your team's forecheck better. And you go out and get the Joseph kids, both of them, big kids, move around pretty good. And you get Radek Faksa, doesn't move around as good as he used to, but he's a big body. The Blues needed to get a little bit bigger, a little beefier to play that style of game where they keep the puck down low and possess it for longer periods of time. I think this lineup helps them do that. And let's not forget the re-signing, the extension of Pavel Buchnevich. That's a big deal. You got a guy that is instrumental in your lineup, and you got him locked in. You had him take less than what he could have got on the market. You did budge and give him that one extra year, but now you've got another cornerstone to your organization and a guy that cares, a guy that wants to be here, that is watching this team retool and says, yeah, I want to be a part of that, instead of, nah, I'm out.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big move, too.
It's the Fast Line on 101 ESPN. There are potentially two ways the Cardinals can address their needs at the trade deadline. I want to ask these guys what they think is the best approach. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Hey, it's Carey, and if it's hot, it's been hot outside. Today it's been raining a lot, and if your windows are not energy-efficient windows, if they're builder-grade or 8 years or older, the seals could be broken. That means on the hot days, the air is leaking out. On days like today, maybe there's water coming in, and you're paying high utility bills all year long. Window Nation has high-quality windows that are built to last a lifetime. Right now, for every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 windows free. There's no limit to how much you can save. Plus, you can save even more with 0 down and no interest for 24 months. Window Nation's windows come with a lifetime warranty, and they can be installed in 1 day or less. They were even recently ranked as highest on the Forbes list of best window installation companies, so you can trust that Window Nation has high-quality, affordable windows. Stop paying more than you have to. Schedule a fast in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. That's 2 free windows with every 2 you buy, 0 down, 0 interest or payments for 24 months. Reach out to them at 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com.
at The Athletic about different trade scenarios and whether or not teams are going to be, buyers or sellers or somewhere in between. And I read this paragraph. You guys tell me which team they're talking about, all right? The pitching was a big reason for their hot start, but they haven't been quite as dominant of late. There are two ways to account for this: acquire another starting pitcher or go get a right-handed bat to help the offense overcome a problem with left-handed pitching and score more runs.
Well, it's the Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals.
No.
Marsh's idea to do a shout-out to the Nolan Arenado story from yesterday.
Yeah.
I know the answer.
I know the answer, too.
The Boston Red Sox. That's the team they're talking about. It's the Red Sox. But I had the same reaction that Carey did. I'm like, wow, this actually fits perfectly with the Cardinals. So I ask you guys, because I found this interesting, right? Like, there's somebody talking about an exact scenario for another team that fits the Cardinals. Mm-hmm. They're talking about the pitching starting off great, maybe not as hot as of late. Miles Michaelis, not great. Lance Lynn said some rough ones of late. But there's two ways that you can go about this at the deadline. Either acquire another starting pitcher or get a right-handed bat to help the offense overcome a problem with left-handed pitching and score more runs. What do you guys think is the best approach for the Cardinals? Forget the fact that this is Boston. We're just going to use that as a setup. What do you think is the best approach for the Cardinals?
It depends. What are
who they're getting?
Yes. If you're just saying you're getting a starting pitcher just to say we got a starter.
Yeah.
And that pitcher performs in the same way that some of the guys that you already have on the roster are performing, then it doesn't matter. Like it's not going to help your team. Now, if you're telling me you're going to go get an ace or a number two, then yeah, that's probably the route you want to go. You want to go with a starting pitcher. But in my opinion, it depends on who you're talking about, what player you're talking about specifically.
Let's say it's Kevin Pillar.
No, thank you.
And a Kevin Pillar type pitcher. What's your route? What's
either or?
Yeah. You got to make a decision.
It would be the pitcher.
Me too.
If you're going to get that type of player and on either side, whether it's pitching or hitting, it would be the pitcher. Because I think you can figure some things out offensively. And I think they have started to figure some things out offensively. But the consistency in the starting pitcher, every single day, I think that's what you're looking at, that you would prefer to have more consistency there.
Mm-hmm. Brandon says Sonny Gray is our ace. Not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I think sometimes,
and
I mean this with all due respect.
We appreciate you,
we're here 4 hours a day, and I have learned so much doing this radio show.
Especially from Jamie.
I mean, I've learned a lot. Some things I can't take home with me.
Well, you can take them home.
Not leave them at work.
Carey chooses not to.
Yeah, they're useful at home.
Yeah. Something, actually, you might be right.
Yeah.
But listening at times is a difficult task. You learn that in your relationships as well. Sometimes I say things in friendships and relationships, and I'm saying, I didn't say that at all. Did I say that? Like, yeah, you said that. I don't think I did.
It's called gaslighting.
Is that
very
manipulation?
Toxic.
It's not great. No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Listening is a you have to actively listen. You have to want to do this. Like defense, Jamie.
Yeah.
Standing in front of slap shot.
You gotta want
to do it.
Yep.
Pay attention.
Taking on Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter.
You gotta want to.
You got that want to.
Yeah. You gotta have that dog.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's the want to and then the have to.
Yes, it's different.
What's that from? Rookie of the Year? The pitcher's mound?
Right. I have to.
It's your have to.
Pitch from your have to. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Still one of the finest rookie performances ever.
Yeah, sometimes
in Major League Baseball history.
We weren't talking about Sonny Gray at all.
Yeah.
No, we weren't.
No, I have no idea how Sonny Gray even entered the chat.
He's right, though. Brandon is right, though. Sonny Gray is the ace.
Look, if Cardinals make any move at all, which would be minimal, it has to be for a pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and look, this next month will tell you. When's the trade deadline?
July 31st.
Okay, so
the 30th.
This next couple weeks.
Either way.
Maybe you'll see where Arenado and Goldie are. Maybe they come back out of the break and they're hitting the ball a little better or whatever.
You're not saying that because you're going to trade them. No. Just make sure. Because
No.
We want to be clear.
Yeah, no, I'm not trading them. I don't think you get enough for them.
They're going to have outstanding outstanding second half.
Which is why, and I think the Cardinals believe that they're going to have a better second half because Mose even said that. He said, if you look at the back of the baseball card, we're hoping that's, and it's fine, and he's not wrong for that. But that leads me to believe that the target the pitching then in lieu of that right-handed power bat that they say is going to play in the outfield somewhere.
Yeah. I don't think they need anything. No matter who puts on the birds and the bat, they're going to be great. Why are you guys laughing?
Because you're ready for Tommy Edman and Steven Matz to be back because that's your trade.
Yeah. Yep. You guys keep telling me, though, those are as good as trades. So I'm going to start to believe
We're
you.
not wrong.
You don't have to give anything up.
Nothing.
I wouldn't make a move.
Brandon corrected himself, by the way, Anthony.
What did he say?
He said that Sonny Gray's our ace, and he goes, because you guys think we need an ace. We don't need an ace.
What Carey said was, if you're
Your fault.
Can you have it too much?
What did I say, Anthony?
Carey said that it depends if you're adding a starter, if you're adding an ace or a number 2 type. Okay. He wasn't dismissing that Sonny Gray is your ace.
And let's be... Like, if you get a player that's better than Sonny Gray, he's the ace. What the hell are we talking about? What are you, like...
I had a dream once that that there was and this was a couple of years ago, I had this dream, that a starting rotation could have, like, several top-end starters.
It was just a dream.
It was just a dream, though.
Clearly.
This was about 5 years ago or so. Yeah. It had, hold on.
Nelly said it was only just a dream.
It was just a dream. But I think the name, like Max Scherzer, I think it was Scherzer, Strasburg.
Oh, wow.
Who else was in that?
Annabelle Sanchez.
Oh, it was Annabelle Sanchez. And then
I was at that sleepover that night.
Were you?
Yeah.
Did you have the same dream, or did we just talk about it?
Well,
Patrick Corbin, who was a stud at the time, because it was, again, about 5 years ago or so. But I know
we woke up, remember, and we said, did you have that?
Did you have that?
And I said, the strangest dream.
Yeah.
What? Me too.
Right. Like the Cardinals are in the playoffs, but they got...
Anthony had a vision.
They got taken to the woodshed because
I don't even think
the
they
other
used
team,
a bat that series.
Yeah, because the other team had a bunch of top guys in the rotation.
That's correct.
You might have been. It could have been now though. It could have been the Philadelphia Phillies. Like you could have recently had that dream about a starting rotation that is full of really good pitchers.
Walrus King. I have a dream. Seems like I heard that one before. Definitely from somebody more powerful than me.
Anthony, I think that dream was actually real.
What do you mean?
What? Did it really happen?
I think it may have happened.
Not with the Cardinals.
No team would ever add more great starting pitching if they already have one stud.
If you have all those pitchers, no way you're winning the championship.
Right.
That rotation that you mentioned it sounds like a World Series type of rotation.
No, Marsh, you're
Who's going to score runs for you? That's what you
My
need.
bad. That's right. Mm-hmm. All right. So, in all seriousness, after the sarcasm and the snarkiness, are you there too? Well, you said it. Pitching. What about Marsh? Two different avenues here. Do you fall in line with a lot of people that are like, listen, offense has been your problem in the postseason. Go get that offense. And you loved Kevin Pillar. You had his jersey for a while. Do you still want to add Kevin Pillar over a Kevin Pillar-esque pitcher?
No, I'd rather add pitching.
Okay. All right. So you've come to this side. You've come to the good side.
Well, I mean, who's to say that the offense, this offense in particular, can't get it done in October? This is a different team.
I agree.
It's a different team. Now, you have some of the same pieces, and those guys didn't really hit, but maybe they will this time around.
Who's to say that you might have one of the best offenses in baseball in the regular season, and you stink in the postseason?
It's possible.
It's a possibility, too.
It's happened.
You could
because other teams have good pitching.
Correct. There you go.
You could just get lucky and go to the World Series, and just by getting in.
Very true.
Strange things have happened.
We've seen it before.
But yeah, I'd rather get pitching.
Did you guys know in 06 and 11, the Cardinals were left for dead? Mm-hmm. And they won the World Series those years? You guys should probably start talking about that more.
Just get in, man. Carey said it right at the start of the season.
I had a dream a year ago.
All you got to do is get in, right, Carey?
Yep.
I had a dream a year ago that the Diamondbacks did that.
What?
They won the World Series, right? They had a great team, great season. They put up that championship banner at the beginning of. They didn't win it all.
No, but they just got in.
The Phillies, they were struggling a couple years ago. Fired their manager. They won the World Series.
They're not firing Ollie.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
I don't know why you're saying that right now.
I'm just saying, you do strange things. You just get in, you fire your manager. Those are the things that win you championships, Anthony.
Hell, I saw a team, and they punched each other at practice. And they wound up winning a title.
They did.
Sometimes
they were
necessary.
Left off for dead, too.
You have these dreams. Mm-hmm. Did you dream about how many rebounds Caitlin Clark would get tonight against the Dallas Wings?
Yes, I did, Marsh.
Did you?
Yes, I did. What's the number, 9.5?
I mean, you would know. You're the one that had the dream.
I don't know, honestly. Is there enough WNBA action for you to play Bet the Board?
You know what, though?
There's only like 2 games left, I think.
There's a few games tonight. Few games tonight in the W. Unfortunately, I lost the other day, so I'm going to go ahead and not do the W tonight.
Wow, you're going all-star game. I can see it on your face.
I already have a pick in mind.
Oh, wow. You'll hear that pick and Bet the Board in about 20 minutes or so. But we have biggest question of the day next.
Anthony, as men, we go through changes in life, and some of the changes are when you get older, you start to have low testosterone. It happens, and some guys can happen at 20, 30, 40, 50, somewhere along the way. Mm-hmm. It sure is nice to have mentality that we're able to go and talk to their board-certified physicians and have them help us out.
I'm being 100% honest with this. When I stopped working out, the life got busy. 3 kids, multiple jobs, you're running around all the time. And I thought, well, it'll get better eventually. And then you start to buy certain supplements that don't really work, and you spend all this money. And then finally, after you recommended it, I went down to Mentality. And the program has been fantastic. But, Jamie, how about just how easy it is to go in there and get the help that you actually need? And a lot of times your insurance company will pay for that.
Yeah, and it's just an awesome environment. The staff over there is so nice, so helpful. And at first you kind of feel a little bit stressed out. Oh, no, what's going on here? I don't want anybody to see me here. Who cares? Mm-hmm. Everybody in there is there for the same reason. They want to feel better. And the staff, they want you to feel better. And the best part about it is each program is specific to the individual.
Yeah.
So I'm not doing your program. You're not on my program. It is specific to us, the individual, and that's where you get your biggest gains. And so please take the time, visit either location. You got the South County location, Chesterfield location. When you walk in, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. And Anthony, if they can't get there in person, how can they get there?
You can always view it online, lowtusa.com. It's Mentality.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. We've been talking about it all day long, but Torey Krug has been diagnosed with pre-arthritic changes in his left ankle and will be reevaluated in 6 to 8 weeks. If surgery is necessary, Krug would miss the entire 2024-2025 season. So if you missed that conversation or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. You'll find everything there on the podcast page. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. We have the All-Star game tonight for Major League Baseball. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock, so stay tuned for that. But we have our biggest question of the day coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
With Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
Okay, so obviously Torey Krug and his injury has sort of taken over the show today. And we've talked about it a little bit, but I wanted to pose the question, when all is said and done, or we can just look at it from up until this point, how would you essentially rate Torey Krug's contract? Or how will it be remembered?
Well, the number one thing people are going to do is they're going to associate it immediately with Alex Pietrangelo.
No. And is that fair?
No, it's not fair. For a couple of reasons. One, he's not Alex Pietrangelo, so it's not fair to compare him to that individual. And the signing of Torey Krug was independent of what happened between Petro and the Blues. Was Torey Krug the pivot? Yeah, and let's not forget something here. Torey Krug was after Alex Pietrangelo, Torey Krug was the number one free agent defenseman available on the market that offseason. So it's not like Army turned and tried to sign a player that wasn't even coveted by other teams. No, Torey Krug was the number 2 rated defenseman available in the free agent market. So the pivot was quick, and you had to do something. You just lost your captain. You just lost a power play guy. You just lost a penalty kill guy. You lost one of the best defensemen in the NHL. However it happened, it happened. People can blame Petro. People can blame Army. It doesn't matter. To this discussion, it's irrelevant. The player left or the team walked away. Whatever it is, you had to fill the void. And Army did his job. He went out and filled the void with what the best player available was at that moment. What do you always say? Get the best player available.
Yeah.
Figure it out later, right?
Right.
That's what he did. Problem is that it hasn't worked out perfectly yet. And whether it's been players that haven't played up to potential, I'm not even alluding to Torey Krug at this point, and just other players. It's been a bumpy road, and 2 years ago was a really bumpy road, so it's kind of hard to evaluate the signing when your team is selling off all sorts of pieces at the deadline and you're nowhere near the playoffs. There have been some injuries as well for Torey Krug, and now knowing about this injury, like how long has he been playing through this? How long has this been an issue? So how will it be remembered? Unfortunately, I think the headlines for this particular signing will always read Krug over Pietrangelo. That Army chose Krug over Pietrangelo, which is not true. It's not factual, but that's exactly the way it's going to be remembered.
Yeah, I think it's more fair to say he chose his philosophy of not giving out the no movement clause.
And we'll never know how that negotiation went, because you can talk to people within the organization who kind of know, and they say that Army was willing to give a portion of that contract, a full no movement clause. But and I don't know this to be true, it's just been talked about that towards the back end of the contract, the no movement was lifted.
Okay.
So it'll be the organization protecting itself if the player has dip towards the end of his contract, they could move him. Well, obviously, as the player, Alex Pietrangelo wanted a full no movement because he's like, this is the last contract of my career.
Right.
I'm not moving around.
Yeah.
And they, for whatever reason, I believe that was one contributing factor, and they couldn't get past it. Sure. And then I think at some point it became personal for both. As much as Army is a business guy, I think he took it personal at sometimes the way things were going from the other side of negotiation. And I think that Petro and his camp took certain things or lack thereof personal as well. And then it got fractured. And that's when you knew it wasn't going to happen.
Sure. Going back to it, though, I think it'd be more fair to say that it was Doug Armstrong choosing not to hand out a no movement clause for the length of the contract, as opposed to him choosing Torey Krug over Petro.
I'd say that's fair.
I think he pivoted to Torey Krug, and I'll be honest. I realized that a lot of people were upset when Petro signed with Vegas, upset with Doug Armstrong, upset with the Blues for not getting a deal done. There was also, if you're honest, there was a fair amount of people that were like done with Petro, didn't think he was a captain, wanted the Blues to strip him of the C and all that when the Blues were not playing well in the first half.
I remember that.
They wanted him gone.
Voted off the island.
Yeah. And I do remember as well, like that's a full stop on that. So if you're being honest, you could raise your hand and be like, well, because I wanted the whole team traded. I was done with them. I said, tear it down to the studs. So I'll take ownership on that one. I also remember, while people were upset that Petro signed with Vegas and the Blues couldn't get it done. Well, hey, you got Torey Krug though, because he was the top defenseman there. It hasn't worked out. Should Doug Armstrong have gotten over the no movement clause? Yeah, he should have. And Jamie, I always thought you brought up the best point of all of this. You said you could have changed the precedent and made it, quite frankly, easy.
Very easy.
If anybody came to you and said, well, you gave Petro the no movement clause, okay, accomplish what he does.
Yeah.
And then I'll give you the no movement clause. Because at that point, it would have been impossible.
Right.
You said,
Can't duplicate it.
Yeah, you set the precedent.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty high hurdle for anybody to ask that. Are you the first captain in Blues history to hoist the Stanley Cup? No? Get the hell out of my office.
Or were you drafted, developed, brought through the organization,
became a captain,
then become captain, then become a Stanley Cup champion?
Right.
I think it's a pretty easy blueprint to be like, yeah, I don't check all the boxes. Well, if you don't,
you do that, I'll give you the no movement clause just like him.
Yep.
So you have always brought that up, and I think it's an outstanding point.
I agree. I think, for Krug, it's just hindsight being 2020. When you feel like a player isn't playing to the ability, it's easy to go back and say, well, Petro was the one we should have kept anyways.
Yeah.
And
there's
you're
a lot
right.
of foresight in that.
Yeah, people forget how they felt at that time. And so I think it's unfortunate for Krug because anytime you're a player, you always are out there. Your job is to be the best player, do the best job you can do, earn the contract that you have received. And, this all pretty much kind of started last offseason where, the announcement that he was potentially going to be traded, but, said, no way, I'm not leaving, revoked it. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be here. I want to get this right. And you would hope that would endear him to fans, but then you come out and maybe don't perform at the level, and then fans are still like, yeah, we want you the hell gone. And so I think for Krug, it's a tough time, and now you're dealing with an injury, and now you're probably going to be out for the season. This is not how he wanted the last two seasons to go at all. Mm-hmm. He wants to be performing at the highest level, giving his best, earning the contract that he has received, and showing the people that are here, hell, I deserve this money, and I'm going to show, and I'm going to help this team win games. Unfortunately, it just hasn't gone that way for him, and now you have fans just it's like the angry mob. They're like, yeah, get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Go on. Get away. And so, it's a rough place to be in for an athlete right now where Krug is.
If we're being honest, and we go back with the angry mob theory, the angry mob thought Justin Falk was here to replace Petro. When Army
Yeah.
traded for Justin Falk, and there was no
Yes,
spot.
you're
for,
right.
This is Petro's replacement.
You and I were doing radio on
Yeah.
the same day that trade broke. You're right.
And people thought, oh, well, there it is. The writing's on the wall. Petro's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And they forgot about that because Petro and the Blues couldn't come to an agreement, and then they pivoted to Krug. So now the angry mob went from Falk to Krug, where it really started with Falk.
Right.
So, if we're being honest, that's how it
I
went
think
down.
Army was protecting himself with Falk. I think he was
I don't think
looking
he was.
down the road.
And I don't think that was a bad idea.
Right.
I think that had Alex Pietrangelo been able to come to an agreement with the Blues, your right side of the blue line would have been Petro, Parayko, Falk.
I mean, pretty good.
It would, yeah, I'd say it'd be pretty damn good for that matter.
All right, we got Bet the Board 3 stars of the day and criticisms and compliments next.
Fellas, are you currently using ED meds? Nobody cares. I care that you're paying too much for those ED meds, whether it's the little blue pill, whether it's the gummy thing, probably paying too much for it. That's why you need to go see my friends over at the Medicine Shop in St. Charles. They are your destination for cheap ED meds. They got a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Seen this advertised other places. I have not seen it advertised for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course, and if you take any other medication on a regular basis and you can't get to the pharmacy, the Medicine Shop will come to you. They offer free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home or your workplace. And it's an awesome program. I love it. Busy schedules, out of town, traveling, whatever it is, the Medicine Shop will make sure you get your medicine. And if you need anything while you're at the pharmacy, go see them. Fantastic staff, super helpful. They're going to offer you suggestions for things that maybe it's cold and flu season, allergies. Maybe you turned your ankle and you need a proper brace for it. They've got you covered. So please stop by. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They like hearing that. But if you can't get there in person, visit their new website at stcharles.medicineshop.com. That's stcharles.medicineshop.com.
If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com or your 101 ESPN mobile app. All brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Marsh, give us those standings, kid.
Anthony, you are tied with Jamie in first place, 6-3 on the month.
Yes.
Carey, you
Let's go,
are
Dylan.
4-5, and I am 5-4.
All right, Jamie, you still got honors, man.
All right. Well, I'm keeping it simple tonight. There's really not anything available that I'm really interested in without diving too deep into the weeds. I'm betting on the All-Star game. I'm taking the American League at -118.
What the hell? Not a Cardinals fan?
Well, there's no Cardinal in the game.
They'll be there in spirit.
Well, the American
Helsley will be in spirit.
I've made my choice, Anthony.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
All
can
right.
take the National League.
You can?
Since you're
Okay. I will take Angel Reese under 13.5 boards.
Oh.
Did a little research, guys.
She's getting tired?
When Angel Reese plays 36 to 40 minutes a game, the very next time she only plays about 30 to 31. She just played 36 the other day.
That's a
I
lot.
think they back down on the minutes, leaving her with fewer opportunities. Yet the number is still 13.5. Wow. I'm going to take the under 13.5 on Angel Reese rebounds.
Good job.
Thank you.
I am taking...
Probably get 14.
16.
I'm also going to the Major League Baseball's All-Star game. Give me Paul Skeens to go 3 up, 3 down in the first inning at +160.
Wow.
You're taking some swings, man.
He really is. Like, you don't
have
get
the-
extra points for those, you know.
He believes
I got the extra point for the home run derby.
I did. Yeah, you did. I wanted to implement that. Remember with the odds?
Yeah.
But it just
Too much
became too. But like what Marsh is doing is kind of similar to our bench idea in the home run home run contest.
You take plus odds, you get a little bit.
Hey, you can catch up a little bit. But Jamie said, "I don't like it. I don't like
didn't
you."
say that. I said, who the hell's going to keep track of that? He's like, I don't want to do that.
I told Marsh. I said Marsh will do it.
Just give him more tasks.
A heads up when you were like, hey, pull up the standings. I have like 4 or 5 different Google Excel sheets.
Color coded.
And I'm like, oh, geez, I got to pull up the right one.
Marsh, you're doing a
I guess we
fantastic
could
job.
add another one.
Yeah. Listen, there's no amount of Google Sheets that one can add.
You can't
to
have
Google
too many.
Sheets. You know?
They don't stop you after a certain number.
I have Google Sheets, and then there's different tabs on
of course.
one Google Sheet.
That's what I'm saying. There's no shortage of sheets that you can create.
It's true.
In the G Sheets.
Make a great point.
Thank
Very
you.
well said. Yesterday I went over in home runs because Anthony told me you never want to take the under.
No, I said
you don't want to take the under.
The under for Angel Reese.
It's uncomfortable taking the under.
It totally is. It sucks.
Give me the under in runs scored in 7.5 in the All-Star game. That's good.
Under 7.5?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? You're gonna sit there. You're gonna sit there and root for no baseball?
Pretty much. No Cardinals in it anyways. What do I care, huh?
Wow, Carey.
Why do I care?
You've said some things today, Carey, that have
You're not
just
wrong.
that have not sat well with me today.
Yeah, you told me. One of them.
You were surprised I went there.
I thought it was funny. You're not wrong about that either.
I thought, when I heard it, I'm like,
yeah, exactly how I felt.
it's incredible. All right, Marsh, take over.
So, Brandon left a real nice compliment for you, Anthony.
Oh, good. Thanks,
I
Brandon.
don't think it's nice.
No, it's nice.
Okay, what
Anthony, you're my favorite.
Yeah. Brandon, you're my favorite. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah, that's actually it.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
it.
Thanks, Brandon.
Nice.
Brandon and I have a mutual understanding of things. I know how he thinks. He knows how I think. We're just buddies.
Okay.
This is a different Brandon in the snake pit. I'll bring my Blues G-string to the home run derby. If Raging Rivers hits the most home runs, I'll wear it and let him autograph it.
All right.
While it's on? You gonna autograph it while it's on?
Absolutely. There's no better way.
Holy
Front or
smokes.
back?
Whatever he wants.
All right.
It's very authentic.
The big old thick Sharpie, too.
Okay.
Nice.
What else you got, Marsh?
Yeah, 3 stars. Time for the 3 stars. Our third star of the day goes to Anthony's Dream.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Very good.
That was a dream, man.
Yeah.
You were there.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think it happened.
Oh, you were there.
I think it really happened.
Second star of the day goes to Joni Mitchell and not the Counting Crows.
What song is it again?
Yellow Brick Road.
No. I think it's Yellow Taxi or Big Yellow Taxi.
That's the second Wizard of Oz reference I made today.
Follow the Yellow Brick Road.
First star of the day goes to Jamie's Backyard.
Yeah, Jamie's Backyard. Did you see, I think it was Marsha's stash. I hope I'm crediting it right, but I think it was Marsha's stash that said that Tracy Bibb should be the number one star for being the only one to cover Jamie's Backyard.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
At home. Hey, you can hang with Jamie Rivers, 101 ESPN, and Stella Artois this Thursday from 6 to 8 at Helen Fitzgerald's. Stella Artois partnering with Hot Ones to bring hot wings and hot trivia questions to St. Louis. If you want to sign up and play some trivia, visit Helen's to find out how to register and participate and compete in the competition, or just come out and hang with the fellas. It's Thursday, 6 to 8, Jamie Rivers at Helen Fitzgerald's. Get more information at 101ESPN.com. See ya!